streaming. It is connecting. At least I hope so. It says excellent connection on here.
Okay.
It should give us a 1 minute delay anyway, so get all your slurs out.
There we go. I see it.
Okay, don't do all your slurs then, if that's the case.
No, I won't be you in the very first Among Us video that you posted.
Oh, God. Well, to be fair, I said "nee."
I know.
Alright, still loaded on my end, or... I already got a like. I don't know who that was by, but thank you, invisible person.
Just make sure you're live according to the YouTube broadcast, I think, as well.
Wait, so it was the Vanisher? Oh wait, it's just Vanisher. There's no the.
Alright, it does have excellent connection. But it just keeps on buffering for me.
People... I refreshed my screen. I see us. I see the land. I see everything.
Yeah, I see it now, yeah.
Yeah, so do I.
Can you guys hear yourselves just fine, is the question.
There's a delay, but I can hear it.
Alright, to be fair, I would recommend you muting it, because otherwise you're going to be hearing two of you, and no one needs two mates in their life.
Well, I've only got it unmuted now, so I can verify, yes, I can hear it.
Alright then. So, hello people, sorry for the delay. YouTube and OBS just being a massive pain in my tuchus. Yes, that's a word I'm using. Add it to the Bill Dictionary. My tuchus.
The Bill Urban Dictionary.
If I could do any... Sounds sus, Bill. Yep, I can hear my... okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Lads live stream. Our 2024 finale live stream. Do you know, while I was actually making the panels for this, I was really tempted to put 2024 live stream, but then it was going to have like Paint X over the 2024 and it would be 2025 underneath it.
Nice.
But unfortunately, work were like, Bill, we need you in the kitchen. I went, okay, I do need money, so I'll rush this out the night before. I mean, could I have tweaked it after work? Anyway, so back to this. Yes, people, welcome to the Lads live stream. Hello, C. Spadina, I see you. Reese, welcome. Autistic Gamer Sean, what? There's two of him!
There's a silent version of me. To be fair, I have 2 Twitch accounts because I'm locked out of my first one.
And Starshock, hello to you as well. You can hear me on my end. I mean, if you can hear our voices out of your end, get a doctor to look at that.
Okay, for some reason I actually can't see the chat on my end.
Well, luckily...
refresh.
Wait, you can't see chat. Here, I'll tell you everything. Tarok, how could you say that? If Mate could see what you just said, he would be puking right now. Oh my god, Ben and Chad are in our chat.
Alrighty, welcome everybody.
Hello?
Okay.
Oh no, mate.
He can see the chat now. Hello, Tarok. Welcome to the live stream as well. Just
I pulled
finishing
up on my iPad.
Just finishing up my tea. That was full until OBS was being a dick to me. And no one likes being dicked. Well, depends on who you ask.
So forgive any delay, not just like from starting time, but also just delay on stream ends, because that's how streaming works.
Elgato is the best streaming platform. Watch OBS just immediately cut off my live stream midway after saying that.
Like, I think what you mean, Bill, is software. Platform is YouTube.
That is fair enough. Yeah.
Oh no, Bill got banned off YouTube. Well, everyone go to Kick. We're streaming on Kick now.
No, let's not.
Wait, if I could stream off Kick, I could finally say no. No, seriously, I've actually seen some of the crazy stuff that goes on there. It's I don't think I ever want to stream on Kick.
No one does.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say no one, Sean. So,
I think, should we kick off our discussion then?
Yep, let's get a few comments we got from the last session, because we didn't have a third topic, because I guess we should explain why our lads videos took a bit of time. One, it was December. Christmas time is a busy time for our money. Two...
And I work in retail.
Yeah. So, like how it usually works with us, most of the time Tuesdays are free time, but then whenever we want to game or do anything like that, we might try and find time. We could not in December. Literally, Tuesday was the day. However, the day we were going to live stream our finale, guess what happened? Mother Nature decided, hey Bill, that's a nice new fence you got. Be a shame if a tree hit it. And yeah.
It was not tremendous.
Mother Nature used a tree storm. It was super effective on my lawn, and me and my family had to spend a bit of time cleaning that. In fact, we've only just now gotten the tree chopped
You had to branch off to sort that out.
Hardy, hardy, ha. But then, after that whole tree kerfuffle was sorted out, the only days that were Tuesday that we could have tried to record for was Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and we don't really want to live stream on those days.
Not happening.
Yeah, we want to hang out with our family and friends. Like, as much as we enjoy YouTube, you know, we also like life. Like,
I took 3 weeks off my channel.
yeah. So to start the things off, let's go into some of the comments we got on our last few discussions from Yang Insane, who is not with us, sadly. Well, I say sadly, but it's actually for the benefit because we don't need her bull crappery going on in my chat. She left a comment saying, this is under our Bowser vs. Eggman review. Okay, your Among Us avatar killing Steve was a funny edit. Thank you, I was really proud of that, Yang, if you watch this after it's done live streaming. Also, I actually did watch the fight, and it was actually pretty awesome, I can't even lie. You know what, that is actually kind of interesting, because I remember Yang's not really that into Death Battle these days anymore, which is a shame, because she was like a Screw Attack veteran, but hey, you know what? It's a similar case with Jaru. I've spoken to him a few times, and he's actually said how epic Bowser vs. Eggman was, which it was. It was fantastic.
Yeah, this episode just brings everyone together, man, in the best of ways.
Yeah, even people who disagree with it just really like it. They're like, I don't care that Eggman lost. You know what? It was a peak episode.
Yeah, like, look at that animation.
Yeah, I mean, the video managed to reach 4 million views before the end of the year.
Moro is just...
Oh, Cease-Bedinner, shove off. Stick to the script. Just, we don't have a script.
Yeah, look, let's leave the puns alone, okay?
My house was ruined on Christmas, and you're all laughing.
Moro was just like, hey, let me show you guys what I can do. And now apparently he confirmed on Twitter, you want to see me do it again?
Do it again.
Speaking of Turok, he posted on underneath that same video, fun fact, turtle dragons are actual creatures in Eastern mythology, and it's like 100% what Bowser is. Not even a reach, he was originally designed after a journey to the West villain. That is actually true. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stories where they actually did reveal that. He also leaves a big comment talking about how, you know, the whole Sage X Bowser Jr. crowd has started coming out after this death battle. And it goes on a full-on, like, Bowser propaganda, like, comment. And I'm just like, Turok, have you been possessed by Putin? Am I going to be afraid of freaking Turok doing it freaking Putin, like, walking with dominance meme?
You know,
propaganda back.
Funny you bring up the whole, like, Bowser Jr. and Sage thing. A whole subreddit got made for that.
Yeah, that was what the comment was kind of talking about. That's what I find just... It is kind of wholesome, but at the same time, I kind of have a weird thing about, like, people shipping children together, as well as a monster and... Well, I guess Sage is an AI, but... I don't know. It's weird. I mean, the internet is a weird place. Yeah. I'm a weird person, so, you know, whatevs. The last comment, which is by Cease-Bedinner, when a matchup is sus. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I wonder what could have gave that away.
And, well, with that said, I guess it's time to talk about this Sussy Bean episode, which will appear on screen in just a second, for the live stream. Oh, for God's sake.
Nice.
I'll get the soundboard live!
No, the horror. I mean, I could torture you with the Bamford thing, but it's like, you know what, it's a new year, maybe I'll give that a rest. Until next year.
If someone gives you $5, go for it. That's all I'll say.
If someone donates $5 right now, I will do the Bamford thing for Sean. Yeah, in fact, you can actually donate to the stream. Just saying. I have that authority now. Well, not authority. But yes, Among
You have
Us.
that ability.
Yeah. So here's actually something kind of funny when this episode was announced when they were doing that whole like poll they were doing the year before. We've actually kind of talked about doing Among Us versus Fall Guys as a lads debate. I don't think we really need to anymore. I think we can remove that from our potential lads discuss lads debate Fall Guys versus Among Us.
Off the board it goes.
And on one hand, I remember when this was revealed, I was a little excited because of how hilarious the idea is. On the other hand, though, I was also kind of like, is this really how you want to end your 2024 year? Because how they're doing like Death Battle seasons now is that, you know, the year of it.
Yeah, so it's just this year of Death Battle, not season. So I had to revamp my whole Hall of Fame thing.
Yeah.
Unless you're me and just call this the preseason before 2025.
We're not you, though, Sean, so...
apparently my joke got used in someone else's video, so I'll take it.
God damn it.
By the way, I say that I am proud of how the 2024 Hall of Fame turned out.
Yeah, do you know, if you could send that to me, I'll try and, like, get it in the image for the end of the video.
Will do. I will send it in our chat. It should not take me very long to find.
Seas for dinner. There's an Among Us and Fall Guys plushies at my local entertainer shop. Yeah, where I live now, there is a lot of Among Us. I remember when Among Us was getting big, and one of the arcades where I live actually had a lot of them in one of those like claw machines. Did I spend a $5 trying to win a blue plushie of an Among Us? Yes. Did I end up winning it? No. Hey, I won a Sonic the Hedgehog one. I think that's a win.
Nice. Hey, he's blue.
It's like, you know what?
Abba-dee-ba-da.
I gave it to Bernie though, so sadly my Sonic is not my little BB.
Excuse me.
So when this episode was announced, this is going to be the final. I was thinking to myself, okay, this is probably going to be one of the final episodes this year. It's probably going to be like maybe another epic matchup after that. But it's like, nope, this is our final Death Battle this year. It's like, okay then. I'm not saying I wasn't hyped and they couldn't deliver on the hype. They totally could, but I was just thinking, after the epic battle between Bowser and Eggman, it's like, how could they possibly top this? And yeah, I'm going to say this episode was not sus, it was Gus. It was good and sus.
Why did this fight go so hard?
Yeah.
Because they got the actual animator who pitched the idea on the episode. That's why.
That is awesome.
Yeah, which credit to it. Like when I heard, and they do some little references to a few moments from that episode, which I thought was a great touch. But I was actually really surprised just how well this episode was. Now, the thing that I'm not sure if this is a lad's curse or this is just, you know, kind of a funny way they start off the episode. Because when we were predicting this episode, we kind of brought up how these games had a big influence in 2020. And sure enough, that's what Death Battle start off the episode. We're talking about, like, yeah, these games were big influences on helping out a lot of, well, not helping out, but, you know, keeping people...
Well, they didn't bring that up. They just said these were, like, the two big things of 2020.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Nothing else.
Yeah, but that's why I think is like, okay, that is kind of funny. Like, we brought that up on lads, like, you know, the big things of 2020, and Death Battle also do the same thing. Yeah, not sure if you count that as a lad's curse, but...
Which of these beings would win in a fight to the death?
They've been debating it for a while.
It was a Death Battle cast at one point too, which is funny.
Yeah,
and Liam got angry at the idea that Fall Guys is just a TV show.
That's the only thing I don't like about this episode. They didn't reference the joke.
You had one job, Death Battle. I mean, you have lots of jobs when it comes to your show, but you had one job.
You know, I was tempted to contribute to that because when I actually played Fall Guys for the first time with the bros, an achievement I got was just for winning, and the description reads, "Win your first episode." So I just went, "It's a show confirmed."
Well, that was funny. Also, just going to read a comment here from Tarok. I'm sure they went with whichever of the 4 episodes was ready first, and Among Us had a lot of hand drawn, so maybe that's why. That could be the case, because I wouldn't be surprised if Among Us versus Fall Guys was finished first. They probably would have had Bowser and Eggman ending up. But to be fair, like, you know what? They cooked with this episode. You know what? It's a good final battle of this year. Or last year. Again, delayed live stream.
When the Kickstarter was announced, they said they wanted to finish 4 episodes. This was one of those 4. We just didn't know when it would happen. Because, case in point, Joker Giorno, we talked about it beforehand, but that was supposed to be the start of season 11. We would have gotten this episode probably very early on in the season.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bowser Eggman was the original finale.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that either, to be honest. And so, to talk about the analysis for this episode, first of all, yeah, I could see why you guys were hyping up the editing for even just the Among Us section, because there were some pretty good edits in it. And a nice little detail I like as well, they don't just use gameplay footage that was just found online. They actually have their cast play it, and you can kind of see the few people that played the game with them, as well as like Wiz and Boomstick.
Yeah, like there was DJ, Galaxy Max. Trying to remember who else was in that. They had Ringmaster, and I like that they used the horn as his hair.
As well as Ghostface.
That was a nice little detail.
You know what's funny is that they actually changed it because Bill doesn't watch previews. Like, the preview for Among Us the ending of it is a lot different than the actual episode.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
How does the preview end?
In the preview of Among Us vs. Fall Guys, they actually eject Wiz.
Oh, really?
It's like, wait, was that the original?
Who cares?
Oh, God.
Funny enough, in the bloopers, they bring that up and just said, like, imagine if they do Wiz versus Boomstick. Turns out that is the original Wiz. He survived space just for that long, and he, like, just re-enters the atmosphere ready for the fight.
that would be hilarious.
Something dumb like that. And then it's just like, watch the wiki blow up, and it's just like, the previews are canon?
Oh, God. Yeah, like, I just loved the little edits that were also done. Like, for instance, I do like the fact they use the little emotes you get if you become like a Death Battle member for when the cast are like discussing like who's the imposter.
Yeah.
Can I also just say, while I was watching that in the Death Battle, I was like, you know what, how's it these guys have a more functional detective team in Among Us than whenever we play with the lads or bros?
Because I keep dying.
Because people vote me out when I know for a fact who it is, Z-Dog.
I mean, Z-Dog can't vote you out first because he's the first one to die.
Okay, yeah, true.
It's a shame he was. It's a shame he's not watching the right stream. Also, hey, RKO, welcome to the live show. I only just saw your chat there. Sorry for the delay. But yeah, I don't know why, I did just find it funny as well when Ringmaster, after being ejected, is still going like, it wasn't me.
Ringmaster was an imposter.
Do you know what's funny? I've been in, before I was like recording Among Us games, like I remember when I would join like public servers, don't do that, people. Like, seriously, just save your brain cells.
Don't join public servers.
It's like if you're like if you're playing Town of Salem and you announce you're the survivor. That's not going to help you.
Oh, God. But yeah, like, I forgot where I was going with that now. Crap. I'm sure I had something prepared, but I've forgotten it. But, you know what? The other thing I was actually quite surprised by was... Because this is something we kind of debated when we were predicting this episode, or even when we were doing we considered this for a lads debate. Were they going to include crossover, promotional stuff? And yeah, they did for both the Among Us guys and Fall Guys. And to be honest, after watching it, yeah, I'm not surprised really, because if you actually did just go with in-game, mechanics, Yeah, this was a stomp. So honestly, given both the characters more crossover stuff, does make it a bit more even.
Plus, it lets you do more wacky stuff, like having the crewmates fire a laser that destroys a bunch of planets.
Yeah, which I remember when I saw that, and I was thinking, maybe the Fall Guys don't win after all. But I was also just surprised at how many games Among Us have been in. I was like I know they were in Fall Guys because there's a costume you can get of the imposter, even when you're like a dead corpse, which raises a lot of questions. The other thing I was surprised with, because I really thought this was just going to be a battle between the imposter and the Fall Guy, not the entire crew with the imposter involved as well. So when you
the crew got slaughtered.
Yeah, I was going to say though, like even though the crew were involved in the episode, they weren't going to win, or they weren't going to win either side. Like they were all dead. But also,
and Sean even brought up in his reaction that you specifically died.
Yeah, I mean, I lasted longer than his character did, so
yeah. Oh, by the way, there's an image I put in our group chat. Feel free to put that up whenever.
Yeah, well, I'll have to see about it. I might have to screen share a few things for the OBS. I don't have that many panels. Also, I just got.
Well, speaking of just like
Go ahead.
Speaking of like the crossovers and stuff, like it's insane to think how many crossovers these guys have had. Like both these two.
Yeah. In fact, I just got to this gag now in the video. I love the fact they reference where, the whole meme when people started seeing Among Us everywhere, and now they even showed Wings of Iron, and I was like, I can never listen to that song now without seeing Wings of Iron.
It is now the worst song ever because it's an Among Us reference. Hashtag 1 star.
Don't let Proboscis hear you say that.
Do you know what's funny? Like, I can't remember if it was Mate who told me. Someone told me this. Apparently, there was a chicken nugget that looked like an Among Us character that sold for like 10 grand on eBay.
That is so dumb.
I can't. Okay, Mate.
It's the internet.
Someone told me that. Oh wait, it was. Oh, do you know what? I just got to it. It was Death Battle. And in fact, I was actually wrong.
That's how I found out too.
A McDonald's chicken nugget shaped like a crewmate sold for nearly $100,000. I was like, I'm in the wrong line of work.
That's almost as much as like I think.
Like prediction: is that nugget still around?
Dumber?
No.
What's dumber? That or spending an absurd amount of money for a look of Justin Bieber's hair?
Can they be both?
Probably.
Like, can both just be seen as really stupid? But
yes, but which is dumber?
Both. Both is good. But, oh my god. I just remember seeing that and I was like, surely not. Also, I just saw the emote you just put there. Mate, that is a pretty good one. I lived, bitches.
Because my crewmate didn't show up, so I lived.
You weren't invited.
Nah, I was just like, I know a losing fight when I see one. I'm staying out of it. Have fun.
I mean,
I was gonna say, as a joke, it would have been like, only the relevant people were invited.
Oh, that's just mean.
Wow, that is very helpful.
Also, you know what I wish, though? I wish we had, like, a green crewmate die first, though. Then we would have been referenced.
Oh, God, can you imagine?
That would have been perfect.
That would have actually.
Also, I just saw C Spadina's comment. C Spadina when Ultimus is sus. Oh God. Yeah. Overall for the Among Us.
Prime.
Oh no. Mega sus.
No. Would it be Optus Sus Prime?
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Now, okay, we've spoken a lot about the Among Us guys. So, Fall Guys was a very interesting one for me because in a similar case of like, oh wow, they're giving all these things for the Among Us guys. It's crazy. Wow, Fall Guys are something else, because I was already on the belief that Fall Guys are overpowered more than people realize. Jesus Christ, man! Like, there was already some stuff I learned when we were doing prediction for this. This episode showed that these guys are much more durable than you've realized. Also, it's also the fact that people behind the game have some questionable takes when it comes to their OCs will go by. Also, I'm not sure, because I saw this in the death battle, and I've never seen it happen in the game that I've seen my family play. And one of the hammers knocked one of the Fall Guys, and they curled into a ball, and he moved like Sonic, and I'm just like, I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, I never knew you could. I've never seen that happen before.
Here's an idea: Fall Guys golf. It's just the Fall Guys as the ball, with the hammer being the club.
Yeah, but okay, and this isn't a criticism for the death battle. This is also a criticism for the people behind the Fall Guys game when they're trying to explain the lore. Also, hello Nova, I just saw your comment. The Nugget is at least funnier. Yeah, to be honest, I think the Nugget is funnier. The Justin Bieber hair is creepy, as Torok says. Welcome to the
Also,
live
that'll
stream.
probably last longer if you like freeze dry it.
Got it. The person who's wasted their college funds and potentially future children's college funds, if you're watching this live stream, we need to know, is your Nugget still alive? That Among Us Nugget.
Daddy, what? Imagine they have a kid and they go like, Mom or Dad, why don't I have a college fund? Because I spent it on a chicken nugget.
No, even better, it'd be like, Mommy, why did Dad move out? Because he wasted all our money on a chicken nugget, so I divorced him.
You know what? Okay. I don't.
All he wanted was the nugget.
I don't usually like supporting like breakups or divorce stuff, but I won't lie. The idea that you're married to someone and they waste all your funds on a chicken nugget, it's like, unless they did a smart thing and did a scalping thing and, just sold that nugget for even more money, then it's like, you know what? Big brain play. But then that other person who spends probably double that is a bigger idiot.
It's just a never-ending loop of stupidity.
But yeah, like, so this is kind of a thing I've always kind of had when it comes to like accepting the word of God, because even we kind of had issues taking a lot of things that the creators have said both about Among Us and Fall Guys. Some things they describe about the Fall Guys is just weird, and I'm just like, I mean, it's probably just bull crap. Like, they're just saying it just for the sake of, like, someone on Twitter asked us it, so let's entertain it. But, like, them ripping off man in half just to get to a crown is like, okay, that's pretty funny to imagine. But the fact, like, when they die, they're in some weird, like, afterlife sort of thing where, they're contemplating all of existence. I'm just like, mate, you made a game about gummy beans. And also, I'll never be able to unsee this, the skeleton of the Fall Guys. Yeah, I'm never going to unsee that.
Yep.
I'm not sure what's more horrifying, that or the crewmates having human feet.
No, the creepy skeleton.
Was an April Fool's update.
Yeah, I think the skeleton thing is more creepier.
So that's why they're only 6 foot tall. If they had their skeleton up right, they'd be 6'7".
That's actually a thing that's also kind of scary to realize, that Fall Guy's taller than me, and I'm only 5'9".
You put Bill next to a Fall Guy. This is 6 foot Bill. Is just 5'11". You're like one of those memes.
And there were some other IPs they never actually said the Fall Guys have crossed over with. One of them was Omni-Man, Assassin's Creed. Though, given the other stuff that they had in their arsenal, I don't think they needed to really give Omni-Man feats when they have a TARDIS.
Not really. Also, just I love what they did with like survivability. It's just like, here's them getting hit by a meteor. Here's how much that would be. Oh, and they also survived the Big Bang. Wait, the Big Bang? Why did we even mention the meteor?
Yeah, as soon as I saw, I think Bobuscast brought it up as well, and I was thinking to myself, okay, that seems like a stretch. I think that might have been a fan art or something, but then the Death Battle showed like, oh no, there is a Fall Guys surviving the Big Bang.
Oh, the Twitter feed was the stretch, Bill.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that one was, yeah, and that, again, that's
I also just quickly want to bring up Death Battle. called it Twitter. Suck it, Elon.
We're not calling it F. And let's be real here. Most people are just moving to BlueSky now.
So true.
Yeah. You can follow us in the description down below. Well, at least my BlueSky's down there, but you can follow these guys by checking on their channels. Shameless plug. Also, I'm still waiting for that fiver,
I'm
man.
on BlueSky.
I'm still waiting for that fiver. Do you not want to hear the bantha?
Good job, Chad. Good job. Restraining yourself from making me suffer.
Chat, send me a fiver and I will play the bantha noise for Sean. For disclosure, I'm not actually begging for money. I'm just also promoting that I have a donation
It's just going to be
thing.
the joke of this whole stream. It's just the joke the whole stream.
Someone waits until the very last minute to send it, and that's when I end the stream. Bill and I are the same height from Nova. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Welcome, Nova. Welcome, Nova. Also, this is kind of unrelated, but somewhat related. I do kind of find it humorous as soon as Death Battle is no longer part of Warner Bros. They're starting to get sponsored by Marvel.
I know, right?
It's like, I mean, I've actually had a go at Marvel Snap. It's not for me. It's not terrible. It's just like I feel as though this is more so a game that Mate and Sean would enjoy because they're more into card games.
Actually, they're like, we're gonna do an episode with the Fantastic Four, sponsored by Marvel Rivals.
I've actually seen some.
Well, they've already said on cast if they do Reed Richards versus anyone, he wins.
He probably does. Like Reed Richards, like listen, he's just a man that stretches. You know what? Characters who stretch in fiction, don't underestimate them. Plastic Man, for instance, the things that man could do. That he's the only.
Oh, but it's also the tech.
Yeah, like Mr. Fantastic is one of the few characters that the Avengers have struggled to beat, and even like another character, Plastic Man, Batman has yet to come up with a contingency plan for him. He has like 50 for Superman, not a single one for Plastic Man. And hell, do I even need to mention Luffy? Like don't underestimate stretching people. Especially when they're in bed, they could stretch in a different way.
I was tempted to make a joke like that, you beat me to it.
I also meant that the Twitter feed was not just a stretch in context for what the episode was saying, but also look at how they did the Fall Guy. Like, what the were they thinking?
Yeah, do you know what? Back to stretching and Death Battle. I'm taller than Bill. Neat. Do you know what, C-Spadin, if we ever meet up, I need proof of this, because there's very few people taller than me, at least near me, anyway. It's
just happens, C-Spinner's like 7 foot, and then he just puts his hand on Bill's head like a basketball.
I'm just picturing, that meme of the big jaw guy just smiling as his hand's on the other guy. I don't know where that's from, I just know the meme. That's C-Spadin to me. It's like, listen, man, we need to talk.
No, you guys have never seen I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out of Here, have you?
Sadly, my family watch it.
Okay. All right. There was one year where they had a guy called Dennis Wise on, and, well, he's a jockey, so he's pretty short. And one of the hosts, I believe it was Deck, who just kept making the joke, "Hey, he's such a small man," and, like, making fun of his height. And keeps bringing up you and Dennis are the same height. But he just comes up with like some bullcrap way that no, he's not. When Dennis gets voted out and measures them up, Dennis is taller.
Damn. He got humbled. Before we Starshot said boo to that comment I made. Before we actually move on to the fight though, because some people were mentioning me when it came to this. Yes, they did mention Henry Stickmin. I was really happy Henry Stickmin was mentioned.
I was gutted we didn't get to see your reaction.
I just
yay, Henry Stickmin, banana bomb.
Yeah, I've given my reason why I don't do Death Battle reactions anymore. I just don't feel comfortable doing it, given their independence. It's one of the reasons I don't really do a lot of reactions to a lot of like YouTube videos. I just don't feel good doing it. It's just kind of I don't have problems with people do them. It's just like a personal thing. I don't feel good doing it. You know, I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, you shouldn't do reactions, you steal from people. It's just like, no, it's, you know, it's just a me thing. So that could change in the future.
It'll change when Henry Stickmin himself gets in.
Maybe. Yeah, I was actually really happy they referenced Henry Stickmin, even though I feel as though that's, given the Among Us guys, this Henry Stickmin weaponry is a very bad idea. Not because, it's not part of their arsenal. It's because, they should do it, because...
And these gadgets are terrible.
Yeah, have they not seen the Henry Stickmin? Well, evidently they did. And I think that's actually a good point to move on to the actual fight, which will probably change on screen in a second. Because there's a lot to talk about this episode. Sorry, I had to clear out my throat a lot. I've still recovered from a cold. Now, first of all...
Where do we even start with this?
Okay, this opening sequence, first of all, I love the fact it starts off in the scaled ship, which we kind of predicted this. It was going to start off on a scaled ship, and it was going to then take place on an obstacle course. Not exactly how we thought it would go, but to an extent. And someone pointed out this really cool detail in the comments. When all the crewmates are present and then the alarm goes off, only one of the Fall Guys doesn't look scared until he looks at all the others and then acts scared. Nice bit of foreshadowing there from the animators.
Oh.
Yeah, which I thought...
I gotta go back and check that.
Yeah, like, it's a really good thing. All the other Among Us guys and Fall Guys are all freaking out, like, ah! Except for the cyan-coloured guy who walks off, the Tucker imposter. In fact, I'm going to bring that guy up again later down in the fight, because there's a nice little Easter egg with him. Well, there's actually 2 Easter eggs, but one of them I noticed in the flashback, or I guess the Fall Guys thought process. But I just love that little detail where one of the Fall Guys is like, oh, scary, ah. Like, I don't know, that was a really cool detail.
It's also a cool thing because there's another difference between the official animation and the sneak peek for this animation. And that's mostly that.
Yeah, I just found it.
Yeah.
So apparently, in the sneak peek for this episode, they did not have the Among Us UI or like heads-up display on the screen. They put that in afterwards.
Yeah, which I thought that was kind of cute. It's like, you know, it's not needed, but the fact they went the extra mile to include that.
Yeah. I also just want to call out the cyan imposter. So his strategy is sabotage reactor, kill someone in reactor, then run out of reactor.
He did a proboscis in the last video.
Are you even trying?
Do you know?
Of course, then again, I unintentionally did that to Bill, but with O2, and it somehow worked.
Do you know, I will say, even though I'm making fun of proboscis the last Among Us video, there's another Among Us video coming out where I get very unlucky with all my kills. We'll say that much. I also get bullied with my first time trying to set up a lobby. I get bullied a lot. I feel the wrath of the billion.
I was about to say, no, you were getting billied.
It's what we call karma catches up.
I've never set up a lobby before. But yeah, so I also like the little, in a similar case of like Sage and Bowser Jr., I like the fact people started shipping the freaking yellow Fall Guy with my BB. I'd be like a protective parent. I just charge tackle the yellow Fall Guy. Stay away from my baby.
I think one of the animators like released an alt of that where they were just kissing.
Yeah,
Origin did that.
I won't lie, I do kind of like the original where they're playing rock, paper, scissors as they're careening through space. Like, we might die, but hey, let's see who can win it best out of 3.
And then Origin did that.
Yeah, well, that's not the only thing that we saw. It will appear on screen in just a second, but when they referenced this moment, or this meme, I was like, what on earth is wrong with these animators?
There was a lot of memes that were referenced in here.
Yeah, the stream's delayed, so mate and Sean will probably see it momentarily.
I've also got the fire up,
think
and
I
I
know what
think
you're
I just rewatched what you're talking about.
I think I know what you're talking about because the Death Battle Discord server has it as their icon when you scroll over it.
Oh my god. The fact as well was like that animation. I was thinking, okay, like, did they just get a different like GIF and just re-change the color? No, it literally looks like they've just reanimated that perfectly. It's like,
I love that so much because the day that fight was coming out in our server, when Sean asked, like, okay, final bets, who you were going for? And everyone was just putting that GIF in there.
Everyone was just like, we're going for the Among Us crew, shaking their ass.
I also like the little detail, like you see the purple Fall Guy who gets revealed to be an imposter later, going like, what the hell? He's like, when can we do that?
He's just like, bruh.
It's like, yeah, we don't do that here. just Charlo just with a Fall Guy's face. We don't do that here. Also, I need to also kind of give this a bit of a shout out as well. Who's played a Fall Guys game where that dickhead at the start of the game just grabs a random player and delays you? Like, I've joined so many.
I did not.
So turtle and computer is a weird ship, but giant colored beans are okay. No, we're not saying they're okay. We're just surprised that Origin did that.
Do you know what, Tarok? Yes, you know what? A computer and a turtle getting together is a weird shit, but you know what? I will ship beans. Well, actually, I didn't even support it. I said if I saw yellow bean go over towards my BB, I'll charge tackle him. And Luke,
now Bill's giving his BB permission to start dating.
No, stay away from me, BB. And just out of frustration, I'm going to eat some Pringles. Not sponsored. Yeah, if you guys want to share some thoughts before we get to the default fight, we'll say.
Yeah. Well, there is another Easter egg that the Cyan crewmate is involved with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah. I also thought I just spotted another one, but it doesn't really look like it.
But I know I know one that you're talking about because everyone pointed this one out.
It's the code thing that when the Cyan guy dies, R.I.P.
Yeah, Bill, do you know A, what that's from, and B, what that's supposed to spell?
I don't know what it's meant to spell, but someone did point out in the comments that it is meant to be a reference to Danganronpa. How do you pronounce it? Danganronpa? A character from that.
Danganronpa.
Yeah, it's meant to be a character based on that.
So it's from the first trial. It's how they figure out who the killer was. Basically, if you rearrange the number, you get the name of Leon.
Actually, you don't have to rearrange it. Just look at it upside down.
That too.
Well, at least I know now how to complete the game, that first section.
It's the first trial, so it's going to be the easiest one in the game.
Is it just basically anime Squid Game?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Less Squid Game, more so Among Us in a sort of way.
Fair enough. By the way,
Oh,
sorry if you can hear me, chat. I'm trying
some
to
of
eat
the
away
deaths-
from my microphone.
Imagine, like, the deaths, like, how much time they spent on some of these deaths. Like, I remember, back with Hey After Geese, Lewis was like, an entire day working on this. Imagine the crew's just like, we spend at least one day per death, because we can.
Yeah, some of these deaths were very brutal. Also, I just got to the part where my little BB did the distraction dance. I love that little detail. I just like
Fall Guys versus Fallout.
just picturing like the blue Among Us crewmates, just like, okay, here's my plan. It's perfect. Dead. like he had this whole plan on how he was going to succeed, and is dead in an instant.
Speaking of, I thought I spotted something on the tablet before he starts doing the task.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it might be like a blinking and missing Easter egg, but I don't know what this is. I've put it in our group chat.
Yeah, because the other one I really noticed from it is
Wait. Oh wait, mate, I see what you're talking about. Like the red blotch thing?
Yeah.
Maybe that could mean
That's
something.
not a Monokuma's eye, is it?
Maybe?
Think about it. He has like this red glowing eye thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Hmm.
Starshock says, I'm sure it was harder in Japanese with the whole coding thing. I mean, maybe I've not played the game, so nor do I have really any interest playing the game. I know how the story goes, I know how the twists and that, but not really my thing.
I've just watched a Let's Play of the first 2 games.
Yeah, it's not a terrible game. It's just one of those games where I feel as though I'd probably get bored of it after a while.
And the word despair would lose all meaning to you.
Probably. I mean,
Again, no.
I tell you, we've talked about a lot of the build up to it, so let's actually talk about the actual fight with the default skin Among Us being the purple Fall Guy, which is I thought was great because I feel as though if you're gonna have one final battle, it has to be between the pink Fall Guy and the red Among Us, because it's like that's kind of how the teaser went.
Yeah.
And
why was this fight more cosmic and gorier than Omni-Man versus Bardock?
I saw a comment that pointed that out, and it is so true. Like, even the first kill with like Cyan killing the brown imposter was like, yeah, the game was not that violent with the tongue kill. But hey, they did it, and I was like, damn. But this is why I'm actually kind of saying that this wasn't really a team battle, because everyone was just against one another. And I love the fact, like, you know, when the Fall Guy won, you know, the crown, the imposter was like, yeah, I don't care about winning the crown, I just want to kill you. And 2 references in this moment when the fight starts, which it'll probably appear on screen in a sec. But one, they've recreated the shot of the imposter and the imposter and the Fall Guy staring at each other. Similar to the little fan-made, like, preview episode, but also they recreate the whole imposter trying to stab the Fall Guy, but it just doesn't work, and he's like, but they changed it up a little bit, and I loved what they did with it.
Solution?
I mean,
Stab myself in the hand.
I mean, when you have the original animator working on this episode for it, I imagine they're like, hey, do you want to redo this shot, but in a funny way with our storyboard and someone, and he's like, yeah, I want to do it.
But I guess it also kind of makes sense in this context, because technically this imposter hasn't killed anyone yet, so, you know, when he does try and start stabbing for the first time, he's like, wait, why is this not working? Is it real? Oh, yep, that's real.
He was the one that used the boxing glove on the blue guy.
I'm pretty sure that was the pink one that killed the BB. I'm fairly certain.
I'm gonna go back and check.
Yeah, because the pink guy was the one behind the blue guy.
I just got to the twerk.
Yeah, if
someone so orange gets taken out by a ball. Blue runs ahead of pink, does the distraction dance. He gets taken out by the pink one.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? I think the pink Fall Guy got more kills than any of the imposters combined. But yeah, I also like the whole twist with, like, you know, he pulls out the Desert Eagle and it just bounces off the pink guy and hits him instead. It was like, that was pretty funny. Also, they recreated the whole Fall Guy smacking the imposter. That's still my favourite thing from, like, the fan-made teaser, where he's trying to stab him, doesn't work, so he smacks him once and then just proceeds to just start smacking him.
Oh, this guy can't hurt me. Bonk, bonk, bonk.
And then they... Bloody hell, I can't believe they referenced this old meme. The freaking ooh banana gag.
Shout out to Donkey Kong.
It's like... I mean, they referenced Henry Stickmin, and he kind of came out in an era with those jokes.
Speaking of jokes, a couple of people in the server started doing this as well. The imposter pulls out the Henry Stickmin teleporter, and it works like how we'd want it to.
That's the most inaccurate part about this episode. That should have immediately, like, sent him into a black hole. But oh yeah, didn't, like, Yu and Yang make, like, little animations for that?
Yeah, so
Yanks was just like, oop, Donkey Kong.
Oh, do you...
and I had the imposter like teleport into like, well, between Mikasa and the Thunder Spear that kills her.
Do you know what? I'll quickly move that onto screen because I do actually kind of want to show people when it appears. You know, I'll also share my screen with you guys just so you can all see that moment at the same time. Because that was a funny moment.
Again, this is why y'all should join our server so you can make some hilarious memes like these.
Yeah. I will just say mine was put together on an iPad, so it might not be like the best.
Alright, well, for some reason it won't let me share it, the screen.
Well, Discord says no.
Discord says no, which is annoying. It won't even let me come
Discord
out of it.
says no.
It's like, Bill, you are forever stuck here.
If anyone gets the reference I just made.
Alright, it won't even let me... Yeah, it'll let me move it anyway, but... Yeah, it won't even let me come out of the whole share the screen thing. Oh, wait, now it'll let me share it.
Yeah, like the episode...
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, there is. Because I do want people to kind of...
Take a second.
Yeah, can you guys... Yeah, it should appear on the live stream as well in a sec. Because, yeah, these were pretty funny.
It's just one of those things that we didn't expect to make a meme from this episode. No, I see it on the I see it on the live stream.
Oh, I see it on the live stream. It just didn't come up. Oh, it came up on Discord. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there it is. For some reason, it disconnected immediately.
The Discord version.
But, yeah, so... because these memes were pretty... I think this was her first one she did. It was pretty great. I'll put it on full screen as well.
Oh no!
I also like this little gag she puts in. Mission failed. Some monkey business going on here. And then she did another one, and then we'll look at Mate's one, and we'll get back to the episode. I don't think... Have I seen this one?
Oh, I think I know what this one is.
Oh, yeah,
oh, God.
Yeah, the freaking chase.
A lot more blood than I expected.
And then the final one from your only mate. Join the Discord, we have cookies. We do.
Oh. Stab. Yeah.
I would have loved it.
It might not look like the best, but I did what I could.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even know it was a text. I tried to save her. That's the spirit. I'll stop. That's a good one. I respect that.
God damn it, mate.
I did so much work making like the end screen. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, those were pretty good. I love the... They didn't really get popular. There was someone also, the subreddit of like... Death Battle subreddit, I'm pretty sure, but it just didn't get as popular as like the meme we created with the freaking teleport from Silver versus Trunks.
Oh yeah.
Still, I think that is still the best meme we've ever done for lads in general.
Yeah, it is a really good like meme.
Also, Season Banana, yes, that was a Little Britain reference.
So yeah. So to wrap up, like, my thoughts on this episode, talking about both the outcome and also just how hard the last bit goes. The music for this section here, when they're in space after, you know, they got blown off by the banana. Wait. that was... Yeah, we'll just go with it. Yeah, I was really surprised at, like, just how epic but cartoony the final act to that fight went. Like, the music kicking in.
Nuts.
The music kicking in, the ghosts of the crewmates and the imposter jumping down along with the other Fall Guys. The one going Pac-Man trying to eat the crewmates. One of the guys doing a freaking Hadouken. Only for the imposter to recreate that animation from the trailer of him shooting the planets and then vaporizing some of the Fall Guys.
Yeah, and the main one, like, gets in the TARDIS, comes out with the He-Man sword.
Yeah, which I'm not sure if this
the
was
fact that they made him say he has the power is hilarious.
I'm not sure if that was in the main game or if that was something that one of the animators decided to throw in just as a nice little ha-ha reference, because it was also the fact you see the imposter look surprised, like, what? And he's alive? And freaking bringing up the pencil sword, like you had the power to create anything imposter, and you just create a sword. And I will say, this is actually the other thing I do disagree with Death Battle's reason. Yeah, the magic pencil is not comparing with He-Man's sword. Like, don't let SpongeBob confuse you. The magic pencil is not that powerful. I mean, in the case of Henry Stickmin, when he used it, he accidentally created the Nutcracker. It's like, it's not that reliable of a weapon.
None of Henry's weapons are reliable.
Do you know what, that's true. Even when he sometimes succeeds, most of the time it's through stupidity of like bad luck or good luck. Like the few times
on his scooter, like racing towards a base, stops. Hey, can you? Oh yeah, sure. Let him in.
I love that gag. It's the fact the guy goes like, Henry Stickmin, he got past me. I don't know how. Yeah,
that or just Charles.
Oh god, Charles. Does not.
I got this awesome plan. This is the greatest plan.
Game over.
Dude, if they bring Charles into the Death Battle, which I remember Zido bringing up, like he could fight Launchpad from DuckTales. The fight has to end with both about to clash with Charles screaming that. Like, I don't care whether he wins or loses. It has to end that way.
I don't know why, but imagine it crashes and like the soundtrack just goes woohoo, and then it cuts to the KO screen.
Just Launchpad like walking out of the rubble. But yeah, as much as epic this scene was, I don't fully show it here because I forgot to get the last panel that comes after this. Wow, the death with the crown was not what I expected.
That was the best death out of these 4 episodes,
like,
hands down.
Like, what? Here's the death I was kind of thinking was going to happen. Like, the imposter's going to try and like kill the Fall Guy in the last act, maybe with a knife or the laser gun. What's going to happen is it's going to look like the Fall Guy got vaporized, but it jumped in the TARDIS after that happened. I thought the Among Us guy was going to stand there with the crown celebrating, and then the TARDIS was just going to flatten him. That is what I expected. Instead, we had this like little montage of like, you know, what the Fall Guy was seeing, like, you know, everyone celebrating the imposter. And also, this is a funny detail if you guys notice. When it shows the imposter, like, old and with the crown, if you look at the right, you see like a little, like, memorial for the cyan imposter. So, like,
I kept it going and won us for it, bro.
It was like BF forever. I was like, oh, that's actually kind of wholesome, but it also makes the implication like, wait, does the Fall Guy know that these two are friends? And yeah, and then you had the scene where, you know, he shoves the crown down its throat, which, even though you don't fully see how it goes, you can picture how brutal that was, because then you see the aftermath with, Jesus Christ, the massacre.
Yeah, just chunks of him remaining.
With a nice little detail, he just has that singular bone, because that's something the imposters have. So I guess that answers your question, mate. Yes, the imposters also have that one bone, not just the crewmates.
There you go.
But I like that the Fall Guy is all traumatized looking at his hand, and he's like, oh, crown. He's like, I win!
And
It's
does the
tunnel
default
vision.
dance.
Which, fun fact...
Oh yeah,
Oh wait, do you want to say it, Sean?
I was gonna say I commented that over on Zach's video because he showed that off, and he actually replied to that. But go ahead with your point real quick, Bill, while I pull it up.
Well, so Zach didn't actually know what the Fall Guy was doing after the, the victory. He just thought he was doing the default dance, but the storyboarder confirmed, no, that wasn't actually what we had in the script or the storyboard. Like, he was just meant to clap his hands, like, do, like, a basic celebration thing.
Oh, that's boring in comparison.
Yeah, but it's so funny that the anime didn't understand what he was doing with his storyboard and just assumed he meant to do the default dance.
Zach was like, well, I assume this is what you mean.
I mean, Fall Guys were referenced in Fortnite. Also, Nova pointed this out. During the sword fight, there is a single frame where...
Everywhere.
Yeah. Nova pointed this out. During the sword fight, there is a single frame where there's an X-ray of both their skeletons. That is actually true. I did notice that on a few of my rewatches. I'm
gonna go at this slow just to see if I can catch it.
Yeah. They've... Honestly, the animations this year, like... I don't think there's a... Out of all the 4 episodes, I can't say there's a bad episode. Like, similar to last season, like, I generally feel as though these episodes are all 10 out of 10s. There's just some that just have that little thing that puts it above the other one, like Bowser vs. Eggman has the animation, the epic soundtrack, which, when you listen to that in the gym, let me tell you, weights feel like nothing. Like, and funny enough, do you know what song I have after Bowser vs. Eggman? Or Game Over? I Am the Storm That Is Approaching. Which is funny enough by the same singer.
I remember Proboscis was so hyped when he heard he was on the soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And their reasoning behind why the Fall Guys win. Yeah, because honestly, if you just go by, you know, what they have based on like their own stuff, like, yeah, the Fall Guys easily stomp the imposter because there's commercials where the Fall Guys are falling from space and they come out just fine. Whereas the imposters really didn't have anything. It's like, oh, they could kill other creatures that look like it. And that's pretty much about it. Like, it made me realize, wow, the imposters really did need those crossover feats, which, you know, it does raise the question, which people are probably going to have, should we allow crossover scaling? And it's like, no, I think for these two characters, because there's not that much lore in their games, I think this is one of those ones where we don't actually care who wins, and we're fine with them using crossover stuff.
Yeah. Also, I guess the argument you could use is, would it change the result?
Yeah.
It's just an episode you turn your brain off to and just enjoy.
Yeah, well, I think most death battles should be like that, really. Like, no one should go in with this whole, my character better win sort of persona. It's like, you know, just enjoy it.
Well, I say that because this wasn't like a big debate like, say, like Bowser Eggman was or anything. But
you know
like,
what, that is true. Yeah, okay, that is a fair point. This was just a... Yeah, would you guys say this is a joke episode?
I'd say a funny episode.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to go
I wouldn't consider it a joke. Yeah, it's the funniest episode out of the 4.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider it a joke episode per se, considering it was on the Champions poll way back when.
Yeah. And, yeah, it is just crazy, like, when you analyze these sort of characters and just realize... Maybe a lot of cartoony-like characters could probably defeat Goku. I think I've come to that conclusion when it comes to death battles, when they're doing cartoon analysis. It's like, you know, people always go like, which anime character could beat Goku? It's like, mate, you should figure out if freaking Scooby-Doo can be beaten by Goku.
They'd be like, what's new, Scooby-Doo? I killed Goku.
Like, you know that meme with SpongeBob holding Goku?
Goku!
That was actually a pretty good impression. We can add Scooby-Doo to your roster of characters you can impersonate.
Thanks.
Starshot says...
Dragon Ball Fred's a priest!
Rover Instinct!
Starshot says... yeah, it depends on the verses and whether they both get it. I guess that means like for the crossover things. Most power scalers, like, then what's even the point? Honestly, power scalers content I've just really gone off by because they just take it too seriously. Like, there's times I have fun with debates. Like, you know, this is an episode you can have fun trying to figure out who would win. But then you also just got to, you know, step back and realize you are debating who would win between being-like creatures. Like,
yeah.
It's like, you know...
There are some times where it's funny and it spawns memes, like Sporticus.
Yeah, my final conclusion, this episode was really good, a really good way to end the year off for Death Battle's return, and hey, even my mum was happy the Fall Guys won, and she's not even into Death Battle. She hates the fact I do videos based on Death Battle.
And you're just like, Mom, it's Fall Guys. You'll like it. And she's like, I'll give you a pass this once. And never show this to me again.
You're not funny, and that's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much how it went. That's my final conclusion. Fantastic episode. Good way to end the year off. You done good, Death Battle. You done good.
Yeah, if I had to just... Well, I mean, we're not doing a ranking of just these 4, are we?
I mean, I guess we could just quickly do one now. Like, if I really had to rank it,
because we're like doing a whole ranking video like at the end of next year, right?
Most likely, if we can get time to do it.
If we want to just rapid fire, because I have a feeling we all agree what number 1 is.
Yeah, like if I had to...
Sounds right, man.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'll agree that's number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I really had to go by like my entire top 4, number 4, Joker versus Durano, Omni-Man versus Bardock next, Fall Guys versus Among Us, and yeah, Bowser versus Eggman.
Mine is Omni-Man, Bardock at the bottom, Joker, Giorno, Fall Guys, Among Us, Bowser, Eggman.
I have Omni-Man, Bardock 4, Among Us, Fall Guys 3, Joker, Giorno 2, Bowser, Eggman 1.
Yeah. A little bit different, so I think it just shows what stuff we're into. But
again, we all just agree Bowser Eggman's the best episode out of the 4. There's no changing our minds.
Yeah, I've watched that episode so many times. I mean, hell, if you just go by how many people have watched the music video just on its own, it's already at millions of views. It's like, yeah, evidently fans love this. Don't get me wrong, that all the songs this season have been bangers. Like, I still remember one of the comments I saw under Omni-Man vs. Bardock's one, like, if Diabolical Invincible was so good, why isn't there a Diabolical Invincible 2? And it just cuts to this music. It's like, you know what? It's a good one. Good tracks. Overall, fantastic season, and I really enjoyed this final episode. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we move on to an episode I'm sure Sean is really excited about?
Dusty Beans is probably the weirdest thing we've had so far.
Are you sure about that, considering the episodes we've had?
Yes, I would actually agree
Out
with
of
Sean
these
on
4,
that.
Oh, out of these 4, okay, yeah.
Heck, I would actually say ever. But I don't even think SpongeBob feats can really top like... Well, actually, no, now that I say that, there was that time he just erased the universe by pulling some strings, so fair enough.
I was
And
talking
got
about
the
track names.
fastest calculable feat in the show's history.
Even faster than Darkseid's. Like, because he had the fastest at the time. Can you imagine, like, he just gets a letter, like, wait a minute, my speed feat's been
pretty
out.
sure... Yeah, pretty sure he
No,
got
that's why
overtaken by Mega Man EXE.
Did he?
That's what happened. Santa, instead of giving Darkseid coal that year, he was just like, sorry, Darkseid, I gotta take a record away.
He's like, who surpassed me? Just shows a picture of a yellow sponge. He's like, this is a sponge. Exactly. That makes no sense.
Yep. Now you get the picture. See you next year.
By the way, that's actually a fun fact for people. In the DC universe, Santa Claus is real, and he literally goes to Apocalypse just to give Darkseid coal because none of Darkseid's defenses can stop him. That is actually canon in every universe. There was literally a moment he nearly destroyed his own planet to kill Santa, wiped out a whole city, and Santa Claus just went, here you go, and just dropped it in front of him, like, see you next year. James Gunn freaking brings Santa Claus into the freaking DCU. So I guess that's our final thoughts before we move on to the hype that I'm sure Sean is looking forward to.
And I've been waiting to talk about this episode for God knows how long.
Yeah, I guess we, Sean, I'll let you do the honors.
So next time on Death Battle, we are getting one of the goals from the Kickstarter. And it has been on the last 2 champion voter polls and has gotten second place both times. But Devil Artemis was just like, I'm gonna do it. Let me do this. Kratos versus Asura is our next time.
It lost both the polls, yet is still coming out before Wile E. Coyote versus Tom and Jerry. Or versus Tom, I should say. But I still say Jerry needs to be referenced in it.
Oh, he absolutely will.
Yeah, I mean...
At least in the analysis.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be. Okay,
Yeah,
that was
how
actually...
could you not?
This is actually something I did kind of find ironic. Like, okay, the reason why this episode's coming out is one, because the closure of Rooster Teeth, this episode was being worked on, a lot of things had to be delayed. But the fact that this episode didn't win the poll technically, and yet Death Battle just like, nah, we're still doing it first.
Because there was so much interest in the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they did give us an update on Tom versus Wily.
They have. Indeed they have.
Shall I just say?
I mean, you might as well. This is Lads Discuss, not Bill Discuss and Lads Chill in the corner. It's too long of a title.
Yeah, Tom versus Wily is the hand-drawn episode that Luis is doing.
I cannot wait.
I mean, just looking at Scooby versus Courage, oh boy.
Like, okay then. I don't really know how I can express my excitement talking about this episode, because, yes, Kratos, Azura, it's like, let's go!
Kratos gets his run back since Season 1.
At
last.
last.
A cool thing for some people who may have not tuned into Lads when we did the original episode, we talked about Season 1 combatants. Kratos versus Azura was the one I pitched.
Yeah, now, I was one of the few people during the early Death Battle that was more interested in Kratos versus Atrocitus. Because both about rage and revenge. But the more I started seeing Azura recommended, it was like, you know what? I remember playing that game during the 360 era, and you know what? I'm all for it.
It's, well, Nova, to quote what I have called this, it's time for an angry dad battle.
It really is, like... And you know, characters like Kratos, man, like, he has had such a glow up since his PS2 and PS3 era. Also, yeah, if you want to feel old, God of War came out on the PS2. Let that sink in, people.
Well, try telling that to his original creator.
You know what? That is a good point. Yeah, his original creators had some hot takes, we'll say the least. Like, I kid you not, mate, okay, even though you've not played the games yourself, you kind of know that Kratos is more than just a man about rage, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so, I guess I'll cover Kratos, because, believe it or not, of all the things my mum would let me watch as a kid, Berserk, Dragon Ball, though that did kind of get a bit censored when it came over the Western era. Dawn of the Dead, the original and the Zack Snyder remake. Yes, I'm not even kidding people. Zack Snyder did the remake for Dawn of the Dead. Look it up. Yeah, she would let me watch a lot of horror stuff and monstrous stuff. But God of War was one of the few things she would not let me play as a kid. But do you want to know the reason for that?
Go for it.
Boobies. And yeah, that's actually something maybe a lot of newer God of War fans may not know. Oh yeah, God of War had tits. A lot of them. Yeah, and it's kind of crazy when you see, like, if you are someone who's new to God of War and you play like the 2018 version first, you're like, oh, what was the original like? You'll be like, holy shit, that was a lot of tits. I mean, literally, after the tutorial mission, like, the next cutscene is he's just in a bed with 3 women, like, naked. It's like, you know what? The man needs to get up to things. But yeah, that was one of the few games my mum would never let me play. Like, you know, maiming people and all the horrible things that you do in the game. It's like, that's fine. But there's boobs. I don't want some...
Like, a bugman liquefying someone and drinking them from the inside out? That's fine.
Exactly. The things my family's thought, that's too mature for them. Also, keep in mind, my mum would let me play GTA San Andreas when I was a kid as well. Again, that literally dropped the M-word like there was no tomorrow. Well, there was also other controversial things in it, but let's just say GTA taught me a lot of slurs that I should not have said in school. But things that God of War taught me, angry people need love as well. Because, boy, Kratos has... So...
Shoes.
His origin is that he's a Spartan. Now, if you know the original Spartan era of his Greek life, Spartans had it rough. Now, the 300 film kind of exaggerates a lot of things. Like, for instance, no, they didn't just kill a newborn because they immediately thought, nah, he's weak, he's gonna die, chuck him into the pit of skeletons. Yeah, that never happened. What would happen is, their kids would go to a certain age, they send them out into the wilderness. If they came back, hey, you're a Spartan. If they die, right, time to go back to the baby oven. Yeah, and Kratos' life was pretty much that. He survived his horrible trials, and he became a Spartan soldier. He was taught in... I did just see the chat. A real Aphrodite moment.
Well, not that. I'm reading this one. Bill's mom. Blood and guts are fine, but I draw the line if I see a nipple.
I don't actually see that comment unless it's... yeah, I don't actually see that
I have it
comment.
under live chat rather than top chat.
That's why I have that too. I don't see it.
Let me actually check mine.
Weird. I see it.
Wait, what the hell, man? How is it I'm not allowed to see my own comments? Blasphemous.
Sean's hacking again.
Alright, well...
Spartan life is not for some folks.
Yeah, I do like in the Ragnarok game, one of the characters... didn't GTA also had boobs in it? GTA had to censor something from their games to not be considered too mature for even 18-year-olds. So they put like duct tape, like nipple like sensors over like the strippers and stuff like that. And I don't need to explain how I know this. I was a teenager, people. That's all I'll say.
By the way, what you brought up about Spartans, I wonder, was Toriyama inspired by that when he came up with the Saiyans?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because, you know, there is a lot of people aren't. I mean, Spartans were inspiration for a lot of fictional stuff. I mean, Halo Spartans, they were literally bred to be soldiers that died in combat. Only, you know, not fighting space aliens.
Well, yeah.
While wearing metal heavy armor.
Yeah, and there's a really cool line in the Ragnarok game, which I have not completed yet, people. I will eventually get back to finishing that Let's Play. Someday. Yeah, when eventually Kratos gets his spear, which is the first ever spear ever in a God of War game, which is kind of ironic, you played as a Spartan. Yeah, when the dwarf says to him, like, do you know how to handle that thing? He says, it is the first weapon a Spartan wields when they're children. I'm like, first of all, that is a heavy line to say. But it does go to show like how much of a badass warrior he was. However, Kratos at one point nearly died, and you know he swore his life to Ares, it was Ares. Yeah, I was mixing up Hades with Ares. There's a lot of R's in
God of War.
Yeah, people. There's a lot of R's in Greek mythology, and also at some point you need to give Greek mythology a read because it goes hard. Yeah. Fireball, RKO, teenage hormones are rough. Yep, yes, they were. If these hands could tell stories. Anyway. Yeah, this became a strong point for God of War, but it also showed the human side of Kratos. When he surrendered his life to Ares, the God of War, at the time, he promised to be his instrument and his weapon, and at one point Ares was like, hey, see that village? Yeah. Massacre it. Unknown to Kratos, because he was blinded by fear, rage, and power, he killed his wife and daughter. And do you know what? God of War makes you remember just how much this damaged Kratos emotionally, because there was a PSP exclusive God of War game, and it has one of the hardest QuickTime events of all time, where, you know, Kratos is finally allowed to reunite with his daughter in this world. However, if he stays there, then all of Greece will be destroyed. But, you know, God of War 3 kind of shows that, yeah, that was going to happen anyway. And you have to do this QuickTime event where you have to push his daughter away 3 times. And it is so difficult because you have to mash the button like crazy because you're not fighting the daughter. You're fighting Kratos trying to not want to leave.
Jesus.
Yeah, and each time you break away from her, she says, "Father, please," and you just see Kratos trying really hard to not want to leave because it's his daughter again. It's like, ugh, man, like, if of all people that deserve a hug in all the video games, Kratos is one of them. Like, this poor man. Like, yes, he did selfishly give his life to Ares just to help destroy his enemies, but one, he was raised as a Spartan. His culture was very different to how we are now. But
I mean, it's part of the reason that his skin's the way it is was
oh yeah,
Ares.
yeah. So his grey skin, he's literally covered in the ashes of his wife and daughter to always remind him of, you know, his biggest sin. And this man literally destroyed all of Olympus, all the gods, well, except for Aphrodite, but she got a different type of pound, we'll
For
say.
obvious reasons.
Yeah. Good luck to...
Sorry, I had to reference this old analysis somewhere.
Good luck to any of the men that managed to play that part of the game and not get a little bit hard. Or for the women, a little bit wet. Also, I actually do the point. Seriously, the Greek era in our history was super gay. I'm not even joking about that. Like, look up some of the things soldiers had to do to boost morale to each other. And I guarantee you Kratos was one of them. So I was just going to say, both the women and men probably got a bit of pleasing from him.
Yeah, as a weapon of Ares, Kratos was very effective, to say the least.
Yeah. Greek myth.
Sorry, Sean, it's just the fact you said he was very effective after what Bill was talking about.
No, I'm actually laughing at Nova's
Yeah, I
comments.
wonder if it's because I intentionally planned that or not.
But no, look what Nova said. Greek myth in a nutshell. Uh-oh, Zeus got horny again. That is actually a good summary of Greek mythology.
He's not wrong.
Oh my god. Yeah, don't let the movies trick you, people. Zeus was a perverted fucker. Literally. Oh my god. Yeah, but we'll get to Arsenal shortly. But yeah, just Kratos, man, he's had it rough. When he even tried to start a new life in the Norse mythology, there were comic books that did explain how he got from Greece to Norse mythology. It also explains how he, you know, survived after stabbing himself. Because, you know,
he did that with the Blade of Olympus, didn't he?
Yeah, he realized he kind of screwed over the world because, you know, as douchey as the gods were, the gods did kind of keep, you know, everything stable. I mean, don't think they did out of the kindness of their heart. I mean, literally, when you have your final battle with Zeus in God of War 3, Zeus is literally looking at all of the world being destroyed. He's like, oh, great. I'm going to have my work cut out for me. Just so casually. It's like, billions are dying. And he's just like, oh, great. I've got to fix all this. Like, he just sounds like an annoyed dad when their child just, like, smash something.
I have to do work.
Yeah, Kratos has had it rough. But his games are freaking awesome. Except for that PlayStation Battle Royale All-Stars he starred in. I like to forget that doesn't exist.
His rival was Sweet Tooth, wasn't it?
Yeah, which is a funny rival. I still can't get over how Zeus was Isaac Clarke's rival. It's like...
Or how Isaac caught a lightning bolt?
Yeah, do you know what that... You know what? Don't mess with a man with stasis.
So, assuming they give Isaac that, if he ever fights Gordon Freeman, Isaac wins, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think people are in the belief that Isaac wins anyway, which, hey, after playing Dead Space 1 and 2, eventually going to be playing Dead Space 3 this year. I've heard not that many great things. Yeah, I'll definitely look forward to when Isaac gets put into death battle, but Sean, I'm pretty sure you're familiar... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And that's when everyone is going to be hoping for the death battle curse to take effect.
Remake Dead Space 2.
Take it back and we get Dead Space 4. I'll make Dead Space 4.
I was thinking...
Death Battle Curse weekend.
I was just thinking, yeah, they do that matchup and then at long last Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Mate, after playing both Dead Space the remake and the second game, both those fan bases are waiting for a sequel of their game. Trust me. So I think both are hoping for a Death Battle Curse.
Watch both get announced the day the episode comes out.
Yeah, Sean, I'm pretty sure you want to talk about the other guy because I think you have more of a connection to Azura than I do, because I was more of a God of War kid. I should make it clear, how I did manage to play God of War as a kid, my uncle would let me play on his PlayStation 2 whenever I'd stayed around his house.
Oh, nice.
I had that cool uncle.
Oh. I'm going to say this right away. Asura's Wrath is a really fun game. Despite what people might consider annoying, considering a lot of it is QuickTime events, like during certain points of the game, that adds to the enhancement of it. Oh, so popular enough. It was referenced in Scooby versus Courage, everybody.
Of all things.
But
Yeah,
who exactly is the madman Asura?
I can tell you this, he did not get a very
Go ahead,
good
Bill, I'm sorry.
crossover Clash episode.
Ouch. Susine the Apocalypse. Well, I guess I'm not having days off anytime soon.
That's
Hello,
true.
potted plant.
Hello, Potted Plant. Hope you're happy with your position in Smash Bros. You got it over Waluigi.
Damn.
Potted Plant deserved it.
I ask that people forgive me over my pronunciations because a lot of Asura stuff is related to Buddhism.
Okay, you cut it out for me, and it sounded like you said bootyism.
I heard that too.
Buddhism,
Best
Buddhism
religion.
and Buddhism are... Buddhism is the relation mate follows.
Yeah, that's why it's the best.
Azura just goes to his daughter, remember, sweetie, with great power comes big booty bitches. Oh, God.
Oh, God. I had to get my phone because I made sure to put notes on it.
You'll be
Asura,
enlightened
and now I
when you
can't stop
find the
laughing.
right butt.
Anyway, Sean, continue.
Sorry.
Asura, he was one of the 8 guardian generals who were demigods who served the army, Shinkaku civilization, and the emperor to fight against the Goma. That is a mouthful, I know, but basically he's a demigod who is a general guard, basically. And the Goma are basically creatures that corrupted the entire planet. Kind of like the Flood, I will reference.
I would say they're kind of more like Hades' servants.
Well, one day on the good old planet Earth, Asura was framed and betrayed by his fellow demigods for murder. Except plot twist, yeah, he didn't do it. Turns out their plan was to kidnap Gaia, his daughter.
Also, Sean RKO says he also
Oh.
had booty.
What is wrong with you all?
Hey, you're the one who said it.
I did not say booty, I said Buddha.
Tell you what, chat, did Sean say booty or booty?
What, are we gonna make...
Yeah, I'm doing a poll.
What, are you
What
gonna make,
did
like, a poll
people
in your
hear?
chat now?
I'm more of a boobist myself.
Why can't you be both? Why can't you two be both?
So what did the chat hear?
Quote? Maybe. Because he is working. I hate the fact that you have the actual poll. Y'all can vote on that. I don't know how long Bill's gonna have that poll up.
Oh my god, immediately at 80% for booty.
Well, at least let me get through the Oscar stuff, then we can check the result of the poll in this moment, okay?
I'm just saying, as soon as it appeared, just 80% for booty, that's all I'm saying.
So,
Yes, Eastman, that was a devil
Asura
art
was
misquote.
killed. So he was killed by his fellow gods, who also killed his wife and kidnapped his daughter Gaia. The end. I'm just kidding. Turns out he just came back from the underworld, and all he wanted was revenge. No matter the cost, he wanted revenge and his daughter once again. driven by pure rage. To do that, he had to fight every single one of his former comrades. Which is a lot easier said than done, unless you're Asura.
How do I prove I didn't kill them? I'll kill all my friends. That will show I'm not a murderer. I mean, there's more to the game and the story than that, I'm just saying.
It's just a basic summary of the story. Oh, it turns out Asura was able to harness an energy called Mantra.
Is that key?
It is an energy permeating the whole universe. So
Dragon Ball
So it's
fans.
like Seifer in Blaze Blue.
Kind of?
Dragon Ball fans, every time they see another show that uses spiritual energy, is this key? It's the butterfly meme.
Well, unlike Ki, Mantra exists in 8 different forms. Pride, lust, greed, sloth, vanity, violence, melancholy, and wrath. And guess which one Asura is made of?
I'm gonna say lust.
Damn, how'd you know?
I mean, there is a quick time event where you have to stare away from a lady's tits. I'm not even kidding. That is actually a quick time event in the game. You failed to stop Azura from having a boner.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, am I wrong, chat? Am I wrong? Anyway, continue.
One of the things about Asura is just Asura was so determined, no matter the cost, to save Gaia, his daughter. To where the end, near the end of the game, I'm only bringing this up because I love this quote from Asura so much. Gaia pleads with him to not do it because if Mantra no longer exists, neither will Asura. Asura does agree with that, but as soon as he says that, he just jumps forward and tells her, "But you'll still live," as he goes away to finish the battle he started. He cares that much for his daughter's safety over everything else in the world.
He's a
Even
good
the
dad.
cost of himself.
He's a good dad. I like Azura. I'm disappointed
He
that
tries to be.
I'm disappointed his character got cut from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Seriously, Marvel, why did you ruin that game?
So they can have 6 Marvel representations for some reason.
They were all MCU.
But no Wolverine.
They had like a weird thing about X-Men stuff. This sounds like Boss Baby. Man who has only seen Boss Baby.
You know, I've actually never watched that film. Is it any good? If the energy is if the energy is eternal, it's key. If it's external, it's the Force from Star Force. Do you know what? My favorite sci-fi film, Star Force.
Star Force.
That's a Mega Man.
Oh,
Now-
God.
Now, excuse me while I go play Sonic Wars. Actually, do you know what? I say that out loud.
imagine
Asura's wrath.
Actually, do you know what? I say
You
that
say
out loud.
that.
That
Imagine
sounds
if
like
there was
an
like
epic
a-
game.
Yeah, imagine if there was like a tactical like war like Halo Wars, but it's like the Eggman Empire versus Gun.
You know what? Unironically, I would play that because I love Halo Wars. Seriously, Halo Wars is underrated. People play it.
So Asura, with his righteous anger, only is focused on making sure his daughter's alive. And again, I just love the ending quote so much because it really hits home. Like the whole point about a dad doing whatever he must for his child. Also because Liam O'Brien's a really good voice actor. The same voice of Gara voices Asura.
Yeah, that is actually really cool. And to be honest, you can notice that.
Oh my god, Nova posted. So this is a Greek character versus a Buddhist character. Why does that sound familiar?
Don't know. Who knows? Anyway, do you want to wrap up Azura's story, Sean? And then we can come to our predictions, I guess?
I think that's a good spot to leave it off. It's just that for Asura, all that mattered was Gaia moving on and living her life. One full of rage and wrath like he did. One of purity and peace.
Yeah. And then there was a DLC where you got to fight Ryu and Akuma.
The second time he's gone and fought on the moon.
You know what? I have to give credit to Capcom in some way. Though this game didn't do well, the developers did not really have any plans for a sequel. This was like a, we'll see how it does and we might expand on it. It didn't do well, so it's like, alright, let's just stick to some other IPs.
Yeah, it works as like a one and done thing as well.
Yeah, like, would I like an Azura's Wrath 2? I would
I'm
be
surprised
lying
it just hasn't... Has it been re-released at all?
No, you could, I mean...
No. It is still a 360 only game.
I swear I saw it on the Xbox Series X as well.
Wait, so does this mean this is our first Xbox versus PlayStation episode?
Wait, no, surely this is on PlayStation as well, isn't it?
I don't know if it was ever on PlayStation. I've only seen like button prompts for like Xbox and stuff. Let me double check.
I'm checking that now. It's on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, but yeah, it's actually not available anywhere else.
Yeah, they never re-released it. It's always been like a 360 title.
How has it not been remade or anything?
I guess it doesn't make that much money. It just has a dedicated following.
Yeah. Watch that cat
2 words,
to
mate.
this episode.
2 words, mate. 2 words. Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, that needs to get remade all the time.
Resident Evil 4 remake. I mean, I'll be lying. I said, what game would I rather play? Do I want to play a quick time event game with a really epic story, or do I want to play as a police officer freaking backflip kicking a guy with a chainsaw? It's like, yeah, I think I know what I'm picking.
Well, I'm still waiting for Game Freak to inevitably announce like Pokemon Eternal Crystal, so it's another Johto remake.
I've seen I have seen Devil like post like another picture from like the episode preview, and holy hell, does it look great!
Yeah. Okay. So before we come to our conclusion, one of the big things I do want to see from this fight, pure destruction on both ends, because it might not seem like it on first glance if you've played like the newer God of War games, but there are times when God of War does go pretty anime in their combat. I mean, heck, even in the 2018 reboot, quote unquote, like when you're freaking like clenching fists with Balder, Loki's brother. Well, technically Thor's actual brother. Seriously, Norse mythology is not like the MCU. People forget everything that Thor is. Yeah, Norse is completely different. One, he doesn't even care if his children die.
And he's also fat and ginger.
Yeah, Thor is actually not as muscular as everyone likes to think, because Vikings saw as fat Vikings is like, oh, that is a true trooper right there. All he does is eat, sleep, bang, and kill. He's basically 80% gamer, just he's actually a killer. Oh, actually, no, I guess it would be 60% because gamers don't bang. But the thing about Kratos is that when he's like clashing fists with Balder, that you can see it in the background. You see like cracks forming as like mountains are being split apart in the background just from them pushing against one another. like just picture the poor sod that's just chilling, cutting a tree in the woods, and you just start seeing cracks form around your feet, and you're like, oh god, literally. Exactly. Honestly, I'm pretty good with it being only one game. It could use a remaster or ports minimum. Yeah, I agree with Turok. Like, I swear I did see it purchasable on the Series X. I could be wrong about it. Maybe that's just my wishful thinking, because I do want to play the game again. I've literally not played it since my 360 era. So, it's been a while. But yeah, like, these two are really destructive. Like, I don't think these two are the most powerful of video game characters. Like, I mean, if I'd say who would be more powerful than these guys, Kirby all the way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like, don't get it confused, people.
Oh, then again, it might depend on like how seriously you take the mythology scaling for Kratos, or actually and Asura, I guess.
That's actually something I did want to bring up, because technically, Kratos does follow the original mythologies, because you can actually, well, you fight Hercules, which is revealed to be your brother, and Kratos is so tiny compared to him, yet he's probably, well, he is stronger than Hercules. Actually, a fun fact about that. Out of all the gods Kratos wanted to kill, Hercules was not one of them. He only killed him because Hercules didn't give him a choice. There's literally a line in God of War 3 when Hercules stands against him, and he goes, "Hello, brother." And Kratos goes, "This feud is not between us, Hercules." Which is like, hey, you know what? He didn't want to kill, the sons of the gods. He just wanted to kill the ones that caused his suffering. Sadly, Hercules having a big ego.
Sorry, what was the cause of your brother's death? He got in my way.
I mean, do you know what? Funny enough, that is kind of what he said in the Ragnarok DLC. This is the only thing I know about the Valhalla DLC, because it got spoiled to me on TikTok. Helios' head replaces Mimir, and because you ripped off his head in the God of War 3, and I love the dialogue between them. Like, Kratos goes to slash at him, and he goes, "Where's Mimir?" "Ah, you're not even going to say hello to one of your gruesomely victims." "Hello, Helios." It's like deadpan, just hello, Helios.
I just love the delivery Chris Judge does to that too. Like, you're not even gonna say hello. "Hello, Helios." Also, since that's over, I'm checking the poll, and I hate all of you.
What did you? Who voted? Who voted?
78 to 22.
Right. Who was the loser? Freaking voted for Budai. Who was the false prophet?
I wonder if it's the guy who. Yeah, I wonder if it's the guy who said Budai.
78% of people say you said booty.
Well, then again, Sean, how could you say you heard it when you? Okay, you know what? That doesn't work as well as I thought it did in my head.
No, I knew where you were going with, and it just didn't work.
Well, YouTube decided to take a percent away. That percent is just Steve.
Anyway,
I don't know.
Yeah, also, now, I know in the newer games, Kratos' arsenal isn't as bombastic as, what he had before, because he technically doesn't have all his weaponry. I think, though, for this specific battle, though, they got to give Kratos, like, everything. Blade of Olympus. I mean, some of the weaponry you got in the game didn't really do that much gameplay-wise, but lore-wise, they were pretty sick weapons.
I think I heard there is something in the Norse games that does say he still has the Blade of Olympus.
I
remember hearing that somewhere.
Again, I'm trying to avoid Ragnarok spoilers. The fans have still not been spoiled on that game, which that's why I am going to kind of confess for this particular episode, I might skip Kratos' analysis. Because I still need to complete that game.
I mean, I imagine they're still going to take the Greek arsenal into consideration.
Yeah, like, I get it.
Have them show up in the fight.
I think this episode in particular more so got more folks interested because of the character development during the Nordic saga for Kratos.
Yeah. Now, there is that, because that is actually a popular debate when it comes to using these two characters. Do you also include their mythos? Because technically both these two are from their mythos. Obviously, they have some exaggerations, like, I don't imagine China imagined this is what Azura looks like. Like, let me actually look in the actual mythos about Azura.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen pics of what Azura looks like in the actual mythos.
Yeah, nothing like what the game depicts him as. Yeah, well, I mean, he still has the multiple arms, but he's a lot more... what's the word to kind of use to describe him? I mean, could he still kick our ass? Most likely.
Most definitely.
Yeah, most definitely. But I do kind of wonder how they're gonna, because a lot of his mytho does follow the original Buddhist story, so it's like, do you allow the scaling of, that sort of thing? In a similar case, though, do you do the same for Kratos? Which I think it's fair, because even if you did include it all, I'd say they're kind of even, though, because they can match characters who, well, could hold the universe.
Yeah, so then they both have infinite strength.
Yeah, so it really depends on their skills as fighters, and personally, I think Kratos is the better fighter.
I mean, he has more games to pull from.
I mean, yeah, there's that. I mean, sometimes, mate, that doesn't matter. Hulk versus Super Broly did not matter.
I think Another thing that I look into is definitely just like assuming Kratos is most likely the stronger of the two. How does he permanently put down Asura? Because that's the challenge he has to face.
Well, many of his weaponry can
Asura
kill
has come back from
immortals.
death multiple times. Even when Asura doesn't have his soul, he still fights. One of his forms, he literally can fight without his soul.
That is true. However, here's the thing. When he does get killed, it's not like an instant revival thing.
Yeah.
And in a similar case, though,
I think that
Kratos
might
has
just
come back from the dead as well.
Yeah, it's just like that's the biggest question for Kratos. Like, if Kratos is stronger, what's his permanent way to put down Asura?
For me, it's both the Blades of Chaos, because, you know, they were strong enough to kill all the other gods, and two, Blade of Olympus. Like, that weapon was literally designed to kill godlike beings and even demigods. And, you know...
Yeah, didn't he also, like, put, like, all of his God of War power into that sword?
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, heck, he was even powerful enough to freaking punch out Zeus's immortality through one of the best uses of first-person perspective in any video game. When you see from Kratos' perspective of him beating the crap out of Zeus and blood is slowly forming on his eyes. It's like...
Another big question is, who's faster between these two?
Could you argue they're both technically even in that sort of criteria? Because...
probably not.
Well, because here's my argument, is that, you know, if you remember the story about Hercules, he was able to fire an arrow into the sun, which moves way faster than, like, Kratos was able to match Hercules in speed. And I'm pretty sure he was even faster than Hercules as well, because one of the big things of God of War is dodging your boss's attack so you could go and hack and slash him. Yeah, look, Torok pointed this out. Yeah, it took Zora 500 years minimum to get back. Kratos, it only took him a few days to get out of hell.
Also, is Kratos just going to sit around and wait for Asura to revive?
I mean, he waited for him to
another thing
start
is
the
just
fight.
like another thing is in the Asura Wrath lore, as long as Mantra exists, so will Asura. So that's why I'm saying, like, what can Kratos do to permanently put him down?
That's why I think the Blade of Olympus will surely do that. Now, of course, this is the other argument I would say, is that when it comes to, like, you know, Death Battle, they've said it before, if a character can come back, depends on how quick it is. If it's like that takes months, years, or days, they still declare that a win.
I do think Asura is actually faster than Kratos, though.
You think so?
Specifically, at one point of the game, in one episode of the game, because they're called episodes, not chapters, his destruction form crossed the distance between Gaia and many faraway galaxies in minutes.
You know, I do have to actually kind of point this out. A lot of 2012 games really did like calling chapters or sequels to games episodes. It was weird.
They really did.
I think even now we still kind of have games that go by episodes. But anyway, yeah, I do agree. Also... You know, maybe that could make Azora faster, but Kratos has dealt with faster gods in the past.
You know what Asura could do though to Kratos? Just yeet him into space, because Kratos can't survive in space.
Well, we don't actually know that. However, given the fact gods are immortal and they can travel across the universe in Greek mythology, it is likely Kratos could survive space. It's just that most of his games...
But there's no evidence to support that clause. Whereas for Asura, there's been multiple times he survived in the vacuum of space.
Oh, this is actually a good point Nova brings up, though. He does have an amulet that can slow down time. And that's a thing in the newer games as well, where you can still slow down time.
I'm trying so hard not to make a certain joke.
Listen, man, you better make the joke, or I'm going to boot you.
To be from season 6, mate.
Mate, if you don't make the joke, I'll boot you.
Time, huh?
There it is.
Time, huh? Thanks for the tip.
I forgot we had that soundboard. But Sean,
thing
are
right
you familiar
now
with the
is-
god Hermes? John?
I was about to say the thing right now is like that's the biggest debate I've seen people bring up is like the whole lore scaling argument because of how much it does affect the outcome of this episode. But
Okay,
I do want to say this.
Go ahead.
Regardless if you count lore scaling, this is still a close debate.
Yeah. Now, here's my argument why I feel as though Kratos could keep up with someone like Azura, because, yeah, if you did include all the other, the feat where, he did travel to, like, different, like, galaxies in seconds, well, Kratos killed Hermes, which he's a similar character in Greek mythology who, well, he traveled across, like, different realms as well as all the universe to give messages to different gods. He does that in seconds.
He also has his boots, doesn't he?
Yeah, he had. Oh, yeah. I still forgot that death, man. He chops off his legs and then steals his boots. So he actually has a way to keep up with Azura.
Yeah.
So
Also, he can fly. He has Icarus's wings.
They've definitely.
Asura.
Yeah, they definitely got to have them flying in the air fighting. Like, I want a full-on Dragon Ball Z style fight between these two.
So, I feel like generally it will come down to do you count lore scaling, and I do think they will give it lore scaling considering Omni-Man's analysis with the whole satellite thing. They gave him like everything they could from the comics. Even Bardock, they gave Bardock pretty much everything. I think they'll do the same for Kratos.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think I still agree with that prediction that if they do include, the lore of the worlds they come from, they're kind of even in terms of strength. Like, they can both match beings that are super fast, super strong. So it really comes down to their main arsenal. Now,
I'm just gonna assume Kratos has the bigger arsenal.
he has a big ass arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah. Asura's more so he has many more transformations than Kratos does.
Basically, Azura's Wrath weaponry is basically punch harder, punch with fire, punch with this. He's all about punching. I mean, to be fair, that is the Buddhist like mythology. Like, they're not really weapon type users, even though they, a lot of Buddhist mythology they do use weaponry, but mostly it's about channeling your inner, your inner spirit in your body. Whereas Kratos is all about weapons. I was born and raised about weaponry. He's basically the original Mandalorian, only with,
So,
godlike weapons.
the main thing I've seen though, when it's been coming down to like lore scaling for Kratos is if you don't give Kratos lore scaling, people say he's strong. His highest is like the mountain fight against Kronos.
Yeah, which
and
I
if
do
that went up
question
against
that.
Astra, and let's say hypothetically that was the case, and that was Kratos's strength. Astra does beat him in strength. That was the case. In his final fight, his max form destroys planet and stars with casual attacks.
I do agree that is still one of the best final boss fights in any video game. However, my
I do
argument
think
for
Death Battle will give them lore scaling. I do think they'll give them lore scaling. I just want to point that out because like people do think that Kratos gets washed if you don't count lore scaling, where I heavily disagree that it's even regardless of lore scaling or not.
yeah, I do agree because when it comes to like Kratos stuff, because the gods, like when you play certain chapters in God of War, they actually recite quotes from the mythos when you start a chapter, and one of those talks about how Zeus did create all of existence, at least in the Greek realm, and not the Norse one. However, the Norse realm does know of like the Greek realm. It's confusing. It's weird.
I could see
I also want to
doing
shout out. I just want to shout out Nova's comment. But who's more too angry to die?
That joke is going to be used in that. I
think
guarantee it.
I do think they'll do a comparison between Zeus and Chakravartin.
Well, it makes
They
sense,
both,
really.
like similar roles in their respective versions.
Yeah.
So y'all be prepared for that.
And Zeus is not someone you scoff at. Like, despite the fact he most of the time just sits on his throne, he's not afraid to throw hands, and he is a beast of a fighter. Like, he is the most powerful god of all the gods in all of Greek mythology, and he makes that very clear. I mean, hell, he's one of the few guys that can actually go toe-to-toe with Cthulhu, and Cthulhu Mytho goes hard. Like, Cthulhu is not just he's just a squid monster. No, Cthulhu is actually quite a scary monster. And Zeus can whoop his squid-like ass. My final conclusion is that, one, like, you know, combat-wise, I really want an epic Battle of Gods type of fight. You know, I want to see planets being shattered. I mean, I guess we kind of got that in Fall Guy versus Among Us. But, you know, in a more, like, you know, mytho type of way, you know.
You want to see destruction. I get you.
Yeah, weapons be like... I want to see a moment where Kratos throws his Leviathan axe, and Asura just grabs it and just shatters it, which would piss off Kratos even more, because that axe belonged to his wife. Who is like, Bernie, I'm sorry you see this, but damn, Kratos, you definitely got an upgrade from your first wife.
You know what else they could do? Just for comedy's sake? Kratos throws his axe, Asura ducks, and he's like, you missed. Kratos opens his hand, axe hits the back of Asura's head.
Yeah. Okay, I also, once again, I don't know why it seems to be calling out Marvel a lot. Marvel, how has it God of War managed to get the thrown weapon and summon it back better than your own freaking Avengers game with Thor? Like, seriously,
ask.
One of the most satisfying things in the new God of War games, you can throw your axe so far away, but if you think, I've done it a few times in my Let's Play where I'm like, oh, I forgot my axe. I have to wait there because it's on the other end of the map, and then I just see it in the distance. And it's
it's like 4 in the MCU. Oh, sometimes it takes a second.
There were so many moments.
I have a question for the chat, but I'll say that after we talk about this one because I just thought of it.
Right. Yeah, with all of Kratos' weaponry, like, assuming they don't include lore-wise for their, you know, respected mythologies, you know, let's just assume they just go by what was shown in the games and, you know, stories like comic books. Actually, I don't think Azura's Wrath had any comic books. I could be wrong about that. There's so many series I find out, oh crap, there was a comic book series. What a shock. But I'm looking for an epic fight between these two. I love both these games. Like, they're fantastic. There's no God of War game I dislike that I've played. But I do feel as though with all the weaponry Kratos has, his experience fighting these other powerful beings, I think he could just about overpower Azura, because he just has the arsenal to bring down someone like him. I mean, heck, one of his boss fights, he managed to defeat someone who could predict his movement. Like, you know, a god... I'm trying to remember what his name was. Heimdall, that was it. Yeah, again, nothing like the MCU. This guy's a snobby little brat. But, yep, he could literally see all manner of different outcomes across the multiverse. Kratos kicked his ass. It's like... Yeah, my money is on Kratos, but I'm not saying this is a stomp. Like, no, I do think Kratos is going to probably have his toughest fight yet. I mean...
I just know no matter who wins, people are going to be mad.
Oh, well, of course.
Appropriately.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the few times you can... I will kind of like it, and though I know they don't really act like this now, given how they respect both franchises, I would like it if Kratos does lose, they recite the joke they said at the end of Spawn versus Kratos' fight.
Oh man, here comes the rage from the God of War fanboys. Again.
I was going to say that. Well done. Right then. Yeah, my final conclusion, I think Kratos wins. What about you, Sean?
Okay. Alright. So, this is why I've been kind of, like, saving, like, the whole lore scaling argument. I think, regardless if you give Kratos lore scaling, he does win. For a few reasons. One, sure, Asura has better durability and tenacity, and even if he is faster, that spear we brought up that countered Heimdall, like, to perfection, that's more than enough to handle someone kind of like Asura. And even then, his other weapons, assuming they will give him the other weapons, because, spoilers, they probably will, it's just too much for Asura's forms to handle. Sure, he has that one form that he can fight without his soul if Kratos is able to take it, but if Kratos can destroy the body, then where's the soul gonna go? I do think it's going to be very hard for Kratos to put Asura down for good. He has just enough to get the job done, so I'm going to go with Kratos.
I kind of have this joke in mind when if Kratos does kill him, but his soul, like Azura's soul is still intact. It's that scene from SpongeBob with his bully just always punching him as he's going about his day, and Kratos just doesn't feel it because his soul's trying to fight him. Like he's just there.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with something entirely different.
Like,
yeah, because like
he's just chilling with Atreus, like eating a deer, and you just see Azura's go still trying to punch him, like. He's
for me, like that's like.
He's reading a book and he's still trying to punch him.
I thought you were going to go the Rainbow Dash versus Starscream angle.
Oh.
It's just like, my spirit lives on. No.
He just eats his soul. Antagonizing fan bases is a very 2011 mindset. Yeah, that's why Starshock, I agree. I don't think they would do it, but on one hand, you can't deny that you would be like, call back. Anyway, Sean, sorry. Finish your final thought, and then we'll hear Mate's opinion.
The whole point when I was going to talk about Asura versus Kratos was just this whole lore scaling thing. I think it's just ridiculous because regardless, Kratos probably wins anyway. I think it's just some people think without lore scaling, Asura's going to wipe the floor with him. Again, it's just really dumb.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it'll be really crazy if they do actually scale both these two to Sun Wukong and Hercules when they held up the universe. Like, that'll be 3 episodes they've referenced those 2 characters in the same episode. Which they're probably going to do, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't show me.
I guess, Mate.
I would like to pass on the prediction to Mate.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put my bet on Kratos as well.
A safe bet.
Yeah, I think it's just an overall safer bet, really. Like, I mean, this is coming from someone who hasn't played either game.
Nerd!
I know of, like, some things just from, seeing stuff brought up on the internet, and also, as much as it hasn't aged well, Kratos' first episode.
Yeah, I've actually been starting to see more people lately saying Kratos could actually win that episode now, which... I don't know. It really depends on what you give Spawn, really.
Yeah.
If Asura wins, though, I'll be super happy about that.
Oh yeah, I'll be fine with either winning, really.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, I only want Kratos to win. I love both these games, man. Like, I would love to play it Azura's Wrath again someday.
Both good characters, man.
Yeah,
they're both good characters. I just like Asura a little bit more. That's basically it.
Yeah, and Kratos has been overdue for a run back.
And it's part of the reason, I really like this episode coming out is Kratos vs. Swan was my first separate episode of Death Battle, and now it kind of comes full circle after so many years. You know what I mean?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I get to see the first character I've ever seen on Death Battle come back.
Yeah. Something I'll also say that both these two have in common regarding me. I didn't do justice to either of them my crossover Clash series. I mean, one episode I did better than the other. So that's our final
I'll be
prediction.
curious to see what you folks... Yeah.
Alright then.
I am curious, though, for those of you who are in the server, to leave predictions after the live stream's over, because I want to see what everyone else thinks of who's going to win this one.
Okay, now I gotta see if there's a gif of Kratos twerking.
I thought you were about to say Kratos tweeting, and I'm just picturing, after he killed Zeus, he just does, a tweet, hashtag, shit happens.
I was about to make that same joke.
I would say probably look for one of his Fortnite gifs then instead.
After he beats the shit out of Zeus's face, takes a picture of his face. Hashtag Grr Mondays.
Also, I just had this thought now, and
be really fun.
I sure might cringe in it, but just picturing Kratos being so cartoon. I'm just picturing when he's fighting the Drowder, he's doing the freaking bye 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 dance from Deadpool. Throws his axe in the chest of one of them.
Still the best opening of any movie this year.
Last year, but yeah, I get your point. If you look hard enough, there probably is. Actually, Kratos is in Fortnite, isn't he?
I don't know if he
Yes.
is.
I
Wait,
think.
is he?
Yes, he is.
I guess
is.
you can recreate the bye 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 dance. Oh my god. Yeah, so the lads are all going on Kratos versus Azura. Frankly, at the end of the day, I really just want a pure epic fight. Devil Armor's working on it. I have hopes. And I hope he
From
does
what
another...
I've seen, like the previews and screenshot he's done. Ooh boy.
I've seen one preview and it was also teased in the next time, and already it just looks so good. It's like let this man cook. Right then, so I guess it is time to talk about our third topic, because last episode we didn't have a third topic.
Womp womp.
Yeah, because once again, Christmas. Now, we've talked about like our opinions when it comes to certain things in the community and Death Battle, and sometimes we tend to be in the majority a lot of the time. And there could be things the community does or Death Battle do that we either agree with or disagree with. And we thought for this episode, because I felt that this was a good way to end the year, but you know, life, it is Death Battle takes we disagree with. Now, what
I was
do
about
we...
to say, and then Tree.
And then Tree decided we can't let them share their opinions. The world isn't ready to end the year off like that. And you know what? It's kind of fitting that the previous episode it was all about raging and raging
Hey, that
fans.
actually exists, goddamn mate. I found that fast.
Wait, did he actually find it?
I found the bye 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 dance.
Yes, there it is. Let's go. I would put it on screen and play the music, but I'm scared of copyright. Oh, we've
Can you
peaked.
find the kazoo version and put that in? Here's what we'll do. We'll use that for the outro when we review the episode, but have the kazoo version of the music. There you go.
Oh, I'm just reminded of that animation I did for Lads Debate. Oh, I've really ruined Mate's dramatic ending he wanted to go with for that one.
Oh, that was
still
in your
the
best of 2024, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
It
'cause
was.
I was both proud, but also realizing I kind of ruined Mate's theme he was going for.
Nah, that was funny.
In our defense as well, that's still the most popular episode of Lads Debate we've done in 2024.
And then Chainsaw Larry versus the Tank appeared.
This second.
How does a joke episode get more people talking about it than Soldier 76 versus Rex?
Hey, we got people actually considering Armstrong versus
Sir Armstrong?
Wesker as a episode.
That is actually true. I was proud of that
True.
one. Anyway, before we move on to that though, now what do we mean by this title? Takes we disagree with. This could be like regarding anything that people bring up in verses, mostly with Death Battle or even stuff in the verses, things that we just don't really agree with, and what's our reasoning behind it, because there are some takes that even if the majority say, you know, that's fine or we agree with this, we might have issues with it. And you know, it's kind of fitting that this is the one we wanted to end the year off, because you know, Kratos versus Azura is about rage. People are probably going to rage at some of our hot takes here.
Oh my.
And hey, I'm going to start off with, you know how people like to ease things with their like controversial opinions? I'm going to start with a heavy one. I think scaling's a bullshit method to discuss a character's power level. It's a flawed system. It's heavily flawed. You know.
So, I generally think it depends on the character.
No, I actually think, realistically, we should focus more on feats these characters accomplish themselves, more so than relying on, well, this character fought alongside us. Like, let me reference something that, you know, I know we joked about with Mate doing it when I think this was during our Nora versus... yeah, but this is going to come into a point that I'm going to make about it. So, one of Mate's arguments for... Was it Nora versus Reinhardt?
Look,
I'm pretty sure it
yeah,
was.
look, for the last time, I just didn't word it right.
Okay, well, here's going to be my point I'm trying to make. Okay, then. Now, the argument that Nora is comparable to other members of her team because they train together. Mate is not the only one with that mindset, though. A lot of people have that mindset. However, whenever I throw this argument at certain people, they get either emotional about it or they try and be like, well, no, because this. If you do this with that, does that mean you can also fairly do this with Avengers and the Justice League? Because here's a fun fact. Nightwing trains with Superman's son in many of the comic books. And we know how powerful Superboy is. However, by the logic of that, is Nightwing multiversal level because they train together? That's my question to the community. Billy, that is a nuclear take. Yeah, I hate scaling. It's a flawed system. Like, okay, here's another case. Dimitri versus Guts. Now, I do agree Dimitri wins. It does not require scaling him to a nuke because I've played all 4 routes of 3 houses. He does not need to be scaled to a nuke because he doesn't defeat Lady Rhea. He doesn't defeat monsters capable of matching that level of power. Does he defeat Edelgard? Yes, but he defeats her when she reverts to a monster form and when she's not fully in control of herself. Edelgard only beat Lady Rhea because 1, she had Byleth on her side, and it required her to weaken her with her entire army to do so. Like, okay, if you do cheese the game a bit, you can literally just solo Lady Rhea with freaking Bernadetta with her freaking mini arrows. However, realistically, just say
named Bernadette.
Bernadetta, yeah, she is best girl. She is precious.
Oh, I was about to say. Are you saying that because your girlfriend and her have a similar name?
No, funny enough, I met Bernadette after completing 3 houses. But yeah, here's the thing. It's like, if you just didn't scale the nuclear stuff, a lot of the abilities you can give Dimitri in both 3 houses, and I think there was another spin-off game. Yeah, Dimitri really didn't need to be scaled to Lady Rhea or Edelgard. Like, you could literally just give him... He has all these weaponries that counters everything of Guts. It's like, oh, he has a way to counter projectiles. He has a spell that when he's fired upon, he just instantly summons lightning on the user. It's like, oh, there you go. He doesn't need to scale to Lady Rhea because he evidently has more ways to counter Guts. Oh, he's also skilled in different weaponry, not just the spear. It's like, okay, there you go. There's so many ways you could do it without the need to just do these scalings. And the biggest one, Dragon Ball. Like, scaling in that is so flawed and it annoys me. Because the amount of times I see people try and scale Krillin to Goku. Krillin is not on a similar fighting skill level as Goku. Because Goku does hold back a little bit against his friends. But he always wants to encourage them to, go further with their abilities. But he understands the limitations of humans as well. But, people try and scale a lot of characters to Goku because, hey, they managed to hurt him. They've managed to, stop him firing a Kamehameha. It's like, that doesn't put them on their level. It just means, they're capable of maybe matching them in hand-to-hand combat a little bit, but really focus on their own feats. That's why I hate scaling, because it's so flawed, and I've seen people dance around it and they do their scaling differently. Like, remember I mentioned the whole Nora scaling thing? Well, if I bring up Justice League scaling, people are like, no, you can't do that. It's like, why? Why can't I do that? If we could do it for this franchise, we should do it for all franchises. Hell, for God's sake, freaking scale Gary to SpongeBob for all I care. Because there was one time he managed to knock him unconscious. There, freaking Gary's multiversal.
I think it's a case-by-case basis. See, I agree with that part. For example, in the Nightwing example, there are feats that he doesn't compare to John in terms of stats, but in other cases, there aren't feats to disprove it.
Yeah.
I do think, again, it is a case-by-case basis. Ryu versus Jin's the perfect example of when scaling was a really good way to determine their power levels.
That is actually...
This was before Tekken 8, and I'm pretty sure Tekken 7 came out, because, For Ryu, they had to compare to Akuma because of similar stuff, just like they had to scale Jin to Kazuya.
Now, okay, that is one I will also agree with. Also, hello, AK the Chandelier. I'm pretty sure you had another name. I'm just really struggling to remember it. I'm really sorry. Welcome to the stream. You arrived as soon as we're doing hot takes.
Chandelure.
A Chandelure, sorry.
Fitting that his Pokemon's a fire type. Yeah, it is a case-by-case thing. And I think that episode just shows it's a perfect example to do so. Same can apply to other fighting game episodes, perhaps.
Now, okay, well, here's the reason why I'll say this scaling actually works. Because we actually see these two fighting. Like, we see Akuma and Ryu regularly fighting each other in story. And there's been times Ryu has defeated Akuma in their maximum potential. In a similar case, thanks to Tekken 8, we've seen Jin defeat Kazuya, even not even requiring his Devil Jin form. So it's like, yeah, you could scale these two because you see them on screen fighting. Whereas you can't scale Dimitri to Rhea. They never canonically fought, or they never fight someone on a similar level. So it's just a case where, well, Edelgard fought her, so that must mean Dimitri could defeat her. It's like, what's the context? Like, Jaru brought this up. We were talking yesterday. There was a time Hulk managed to punch Spider-Man. Like, full on, like, punched him, and he knocked out Spider-Man. However, people then try and scale, Spider-Man or Hulk to each other, but it's like, yeah, do you ever consider that maybe certain characters are holding back in certain fights? Like, does no one ever consider that? Like, I cannot confidently say Spider-Man scales to Hulk. Like, not in a long shot. Like, I know that Stan Lee has that argument, whoever the writer wants wins the fight. That is a valid point. Does it lead to some very flawed stories? A little bit. But there's certain scalings where it's like, people really stretch it, and I'm just like, that's stupid, and I don't like it. And I will die on this hill.
I just think scaling is definitely more so a case by case, and it's better to apply. I think it's better to apply scaling when it comes to characters with similar abilities, have fought each other before. Again, like Ryu versus Jin, or just fighting game characters in general, depending on what context is.
Yeah, like
fighting games more so often than not need scaling because of how loose the story is.
I just think when it gets to points when characters are like, oh, they trained with this person, or they've fought alongside of them on teams, they must be on a similar scale. I hate it. And I hate the fact that's becoming more noticeable. I thought when Mate brought that up in the lads, I was thinking, that's probably just a one-off thing, like a little error. But it seems like after that episode, I'm seeing it more. And it's really annoying me. Because I feel as though they rely more on the scaling than what the characters can do.
People power scale everybody. Again, Sporticus got power scaled, and it spawned an entire meme. Much so, Death Battle was like, let's put him on a community death battle.
The DBC community gaslight themselves thinking Krillin is galaxy level when he probably is just barely moon level if you ignore scale and Nova. Honestly, that's true. I feel as though Krillin, could he potentially destroy the Earth? Maybe, it's a possibility. I mean, Roshi was able to destroy the moon, and Krillin has exceeded Roshi. Roshi's even said that himself. But I feel as though Krillin doesn't even need scaling, because, Krillin is kind of like a gag character in certain moments. Well, I'd say he's more like a comic relief. He could still throw hands. Like, he... Yeah. I really feel like scaling...
One thing I'll say about Krillin, people like to brand him as a wuss or like a coward or something, when, if you think about it, he's like one of the bravest people in the cast.
He really is, like... I mean, people say, oh, but he's scared fighting Frieza. You're telling me you wouldn't? You really tell me you would look at Frieza and be like, I could take him. It's like, no.
Also, he was there when Cell went perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, I have another hot take that probably isn't as dramatic as this one, but I thought I'm going to throw this out there, like, start things off swinging. I don't like scaling. It's flawed, and I will die on this hill. I guess we'll do it by how we usually do it. Mate, how would you like to end this off? Or I guess, give your takes you disagree with from either Death Battle or the community.
I'm just going to get the obligatory one out of the way and then move on to a serious one. The anti, Rooster Teeth crowd, fuck off. There you go. I've said it. Moving on.
Damn, that was one of mine.
I don't actually see that as often as Mate and Sean always bring that up, because anytime I look in the comments of either Blake versus
It's not as
Mikasa,
common
Weiss or
anymore.
Mitsuru, well, I mean, Roosty's not around anymore, that's
Like-
probably the case.
And even like then, it just got really bad specifically around. I want to say it was Blake versus Mikasa or Weiss versus Mitsuru. Like one of those two. Like it got really really bad.
I did never notice this from people. Like, this is what I'm saying. I just never see this. Maybe I just don't hang around the toxic community or something, but like I see more hate towards Sword Art Online than I do Ruby these days.
Like don't get me wrong. Yeah, Rooster Teeth or Ruby fans as well also have their toxic moments. Looking at the Cinder versus Azula drama.
Oh god, yeah. that one I am familiar with.
Yeah, I actually
Just
tend to
like-
just stay out of that sort of thing. I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
You don't?
Like, I've stayed out of like things that much.
Well, it's time to tell Mate a story then.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
So when Cinder versus Azula was announced for Death Battle Cast, you know how Death Battle Cast normally worked. People would vote, and it was more so like a popular vote.
Yeah.
Because like at the time, Azula was getting more material, so there was more hype around her. And also, Nick All-Star Brawl 2 came out, and she was a playable character, so a lot of people were voting for Azula because of popularity. Ruby fans were pissed and said that Death Battle fans were biased over a popularity vote.
I mean, it's the versus community. Everyone's biased.
It was so bad over on that side. Like they even addressed it in cast. It was that bad because there were claims that people were just voting for Azula out of spite, or that people were upset that it's that matchup in particular. As they just did it because Azula was getting popular at the time, and now it's their popular request.
And this is probably just I'm not sure if this is a hot take. Like, isn't Azula like considered one of the best Nickelodeon villains of all time, and Cinder's considered one of the worst Ruby villains of all time? So it's kind of like, Ruby fans, are you that surprised that the more popular villain got the more popular? It'd be like,
Even so,
I don't know. That's just weird to me.
just to talk about Azula's popularity though, Death Battle once decided to, I think it was around Valentine's Day, they ranked like female villains, and with the way Death Battle ranking works, if they have multiple S tiers, they vote at the end who was the best one. Even the Death Battle team themselves said Azula was the best like female cartoon villain.
I've not watched Avatar, but I will admit I do know that clip of when Toph was trying to say like, I could tell when you're lying, and Azula just says like something about a princess unicorn, like, I'm a very good liar. She says, I am a princess unicorn from a magical gum land or something, and Toph just stops there and goes, okay, yeah, you're a very good liar. I was like,
I do agree that. Like the RT hate is also dumb. There's also been times where it's worked around, like just blind hatred for like versus stuff in general or in Death Battle general. It's just stupid.
yeah, I agree. But mate, what's your more
Is
serious
Chad allowed
one?
to share hot takes we don't agree with too?
Oh yeah, Chad, just
Okay, man.
say whatever. I think one I was gonna like. This isn't a take I disagree with. This is a take I do agree with, but it reflects on something I disagree with from fans. And I think it's something that Wolf even like used to say back in the day.
Uh-huh.
And this way of thinking was, and I quote, just because the character who should have won did not win, it doesn't make the episode bad.
No, that's a valid point.
It's a good point. Well,
Yeah,
admit,
because
have
I
some
know a lot
like-
of people like just they might judge an FL episode just based on the result alone.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You're not actually wrong about that. There's this YouTuber who will be unnamed that there was this Discord server I was part of.
Piano Man. That's his name now. Piano Man.
Piano Man. Like, I was part of a Discord server that I left because it was kind of toxic. It was mostly just about exposing, like, as they quote, like, toxic YouTubers. But it got to a point that was just kind of being bullies to people who realistically didn't deserve it. But this YouTuber who's like a Dragon Ball and Sonic channel, they learnt about Eggman versus Bowser. And he said he's going to eventually do, you know, why it sucks and why Death Battle should freaking die because of it. And it's just like, Mate, regardless if you disagree with the episode, it was still freaking fire.
Yeah,
Like-
in fact, I remember like back when Wolf's podcast was, well, I say when it was
Around.
still good, when it
Same.
was starting to get bad.
When it was around, we'll say.
They had like some of the research members on to talk about Dante versus Bayo, and they disagreed with the result, but they were just like, dude, that animation was fucking awesome.
I am very sad I cannot censor anything in these videos. This stream is not being monetized. Speaking of which,
sorry.
it's fine, I've sworn a few times. Also, speaking of monetization, people, still a chance to donate that $5. Do you want the Bantha torture?
Oh, no Bantha torture for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's still time, people. We'll say we've got another 20 minutes.
I agree though. Like, just hating an episode because the character lost is stupid. Like, remember the one specific person, I'm gonna call him Penguin Umbrella, made that video about Goku Black Reverse Flash, like that one.
Oh, I know the one. Yeah, I think this is the same guy as well.
Oh, but it was. I just thought it was dumb because like of how good that episode was. It was so good that when we went to rank season 8, that was the #1 pick of the server. Like, everyone agreed that was like a really good episode.
And not only that, even Dragon Ball fans were kind of like, "Yeah, Goku Black's toast." Like, I hate to reference this guy. Even Seth the programmer, the biggest Dragon Ball fanboy and probably the biggest pedophile in that community, even couldn't even like try and give Goku Black anything. Because he went up against a Flash. It's like, come on, man.
You can't win, Goku Black. Oh, and why not? Onto his chest because Speed Force.
Why won't you die? Speed Force, son. It's basically
Force.
bullshit writing.
Dude, that "why aren't you dead" moment.
When
That-
accuracy was a real
so good.
quality, then Batgirl vs. Spider-Gwen is peak fiction.
Do you know what that is?
Damn.
Damn.
Do you know what? That's fair. Oh god, I always forget that episode's a thing because it's just so boring.
I don't.
It's not the fact it's bad, like it's poorly animated. It's just boring. Like, it wasn't fun in the analysis. The
There's
fight
the
as well.
comment of the stream. That's the best comment of the stream right there.
Well done, Turok. Best comment of the
Yeah.
stream. Do you know what I just realised? Do you know what's sad about doing a live stream like this? I can't just be funny and do like, and now you animate a duck, and just make his avatar a duck. That's the sad part about doing a live stream. But the best part is I get to communicate with the community. That, God damn it, I forgot we
there you
had
go.
that soundboard. You know what, that's close enough. But I tell you what, mate, you seem like you were going to go into a but after you gave that hot take.
Did I?
And I don't know, you said like, well, because this opinion's going to lead into one of my hot takes, and that is, I agree that an episode you disagree with, it shouldn't make the episode bad. I thought you were going to lead more into it.
Oh, nah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Ooh.
Okay, and then, anything else you want to add for that, or do you think that's a good one to leave on before you give another one after Sean?
Nah, I'm good.
Alright, and Shawnee, what's your hot take? Or what take do you disagree with for the community? We'll eventually share a hot take sort of video, because we do have some hot takes.
So, I do think that there is an argument to be made for too soon for Death Battle. There have been times where I don't get why a character has been on an episode because of how recent the media was introduced. Let's look at Tracer versus Scout.
Right,
I
yeah.
get it that they want to capitalize on like trends and everything, but like give Overwatch time to develop at least.
You know what's actually funny? I think last year, Team Fortress 2 has actually finally wrapped up their story. I actually read the comic book. It was actually really wholesome. And we got to see the spy's face finally, and yeah, that's pretty much what I expected it to look like. That's all I'll say. But we never found out what's the gender of Pyro.
It's a mystery we'll never know.
I know what
Here we
gender
go,
Pyro...
obligatory-
Obligatory duck. Oh god, you remember when I used to use the quack as my sensor noise? Well, I brought it back if you've seen the latest D&D video.
I can't control the players not swearing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you could have at least controlled them on being
yeah,
better at stealth, that's all I'll say.
Oh, but it was funnier seeing them get attacked by a bunch of sticks.
See, people are just listening to it's like, what
That's
the hell are
my
they
defense.
talking about? You'll know if you watch the latest
like-
D&D.
I really think that there is a too early for death battle argument that can be made for some characters. Racer vs. Scout's like the biggest example I can think of. Some people will say, "Oh, isn't there a case to be made when like it's too late for a character to get in?" Bro, One Piece is never gonna end.
That's true.
Just accept that reality. Accept that reality.
I'm willing to believe, even if they do their final chapter, the anime studio is gonna find a way to milk the franchise. I mean, didn't they recently bring back Fairy Tail after it's had its ending?
I know a game came out for it recently, or a while ago.
Yeah, but I think there was like a continuation as well, the anime. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn there was like a continuation where Natsu got a child. Which, it's an anime series, you're destined to get a child of some way. Again, I could be wrong about that. I just remember seeing like a recommendation.
The only other recent example I could probably think of is probably Tanjiro, but that's because a lot of people only knew Demon Slayer through its anime. Because at that point in time, Tanjiro was the character. You'll notice if you pay attention to Death Battle Jeopardy, he was the earliest to get on by franchise before Dimitri took that record.
Yeah, well, I would say Dimitri was kind of early, but with how I hear how Fire Emblem works is that there's always a new protagonist in each of their games. So, like, Dimitri isn't, like, got another 30 games afterwards. Like, he did make an appearance in the latest game, but as a ghost. But, I mean, all the lords made an appearance as ghost.
I think just because, like, something's new and trendy doesn't mean it needs a death battle right away, is how I'll end my hot take.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, or takes you disagree with. Which is kind of funny, because that was like one of our biggest videos we talked about a while back. God, how long ago was that video? Like, because it's
that was during season 8, and then it got aged poorly because we kept bringing up Deku, and then Deku versus Asta happened.
Yeah, well, at least at that time, you know, Deku's had more material come out for him.
Also, the Doctor was another case in point of a character that aged poorly with our takes. Thanks, Bill.
Do you know what? I will say, like, it's crazy to think how we are approaching our 5th year doing just videos on this channel, whether it's lads or gaming content. So there is going to be some takes that we're probably going to look back on. Like, I guarantee you, 5 years from now, I'm going to listen to this and be like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. I don't agree with it now.
Probably.
Except for scaling, like, literally ever since, like, early Death Battle, I've never agreed with it. And I still don't.
Do we want to save any chat hot takes till after you give another point, Bill? Because we have a chat hot take.
Yeah, I saw one from Nova here. People who say this character shouldn't be in because they're a child or pacifist, they get onto Death Battle because the large majority of people request them to be in regardless of those traits. Honestly, that's true. I mean, by that logic, do we not include Kirby? Because he's a baby.
Because it's like, I think part of the concern is definitely like writing a good pacifist character in Death Battle, because while Aang versus Edward missed the mark on that, Doctor versus Rick was like, I'm gonna redeem it, but make it perfect for the Doctor.
Yeah, like, I don't agree with that take, and I did see that a lot with like Aang versus who did he fight again?
Edward,
yeah. But by that logic as well, does that mean the Doctor versus Rick was a bad episode because they had a pacifist fight in that episode? Even though when you think about it, he spent more of the time running away.
Does that mean we shouldn't bring Aang back, literally coming at some point? Because Aang's coming back to Death Battle.
Going against Genshin Impact. This video is sponsored by Genshin Impact. I've actually heard that game's meant to be
Also,
pretty fun.
Also, in a similar vein, wouldn't that mean we have to, like, ban any character that has, like, a no-kill rule?
Yeah, I guess we can't have Batman
Looking
in
at
a death
you,
battle.
Batman.
Exactly. Anyone in the only one who you could say, oh, deserves to be in death battle is freaking Red Hood, but it's like that's kind of Oh, hell,
I was going to say Thomas Wayne.
Hell, like most of the Avengers in the comic books, excluding certain reboots that came out afterwards, were pacifists. Iron Man never killed people until he became a villain, and then until his reboots. Even Captain America during World War II did not kill. He was a pacifist. Or, like, mostly he was, like, more non-lethal character. So it's like... Yeah, like, obviously things change with reboots and stuff like that, but, if we went by, like, OG sort of superheroes, like, most of the people in Death Battle did not like killing. Heck, even Ghost Rider doesn't like killing. It's just, he's cursed with it, so, he kind of has to obey the laws of the Ghost Rider. But...
And like the whole part about like, oh, they shouldn't be in because they're a child. It's just like there are some like childlike characters that people just want to see on the show because of how absurdly powerful they can be. Like Killua, he's kind of childlike.
Yeah, that's true. His death was pretty.
People
savage,
wanted that
though.
and just Hunter x Hunter on the freaking hell, man! One of the best deaths of that season.
Also, one more, and then I'll give my take I disagree with when it comes to... This one is more so to do with the community. And I want to make it clear when I say it's like, I'm not targeting anyone personally. I'm just going to say that. But from good old Chandelier, or Chandelure, personal hot take is an offshoot of Sean. Death Battle shouldn't avoid spoilers. Gojo vs. Makima, because they try to avoid spoilers, the fight never showed most of Makima's powers, and Bardock. That, I think it really depends.
But you know what's crazy?
If the spoiler has something to do with the character's power, then it's fair to spoil it. But if it's like, it won't change anything, or it's mostly a story element, I think it's fine, like, personally.
I feel like going to Gojo Makima, one, that's the most viewed episode of season 10, and two, they gave Makima a lot more. Like, they even include the ending of her story when it came to that episode.
Yeah, I did eventually watch the anime Chainsaw Man. It's actually really good. And Bernie once, she saw the figurine of when we went to this... There's this shop near me called Menkind. They mostly just have all sorts of funny, like, anime stuff and other cool things. Like, I got my brother a bullshit button where you press it and it just says bullshit in 10 different ways. There's one where it goes,
Nice.
bullshit. He liked that Christmas present. He spammed that like crazy. But she was looking at these, like, anime figurines and she was like, what's this guy with the chainsaw head called? I went, he's called Chainsaw Man. She was like, is that like the English dubbing? She was like, no, like in both the Japanese and English, he is literally called Chainsaw Man. And she was like, I mean, accurate description. I was like, yeah, honestly, it's the most accurate anime description you can think of. Anyway, sure, continue. I just thought I'll share a funny story.
I know there have been some episodes like, mate, I know you were like not pleased about them not spoiling stuff about episodes before.
Has he?
I don't know. I just thought it was weird how they specifically treat Invincible. Because it's just like, oh yeah, we'll spoil this, but Invincible, no, we can't do that.
Well, that's because Invincible's still a really popular TV show at the moment, and the main thing, like I even said to Chandelure, was that the major spoiler for Omni-Man doesn't go into show anything regarding his powers. It's more so revealing how his story ends, which is a big spoiler. Which even now I'm like, I do not want to reveal it. It's like one of the TMNT comic books. I never want to ever spoil it because, like, people, if you're familiar with The Last Ronin, you would know why I'd never want to spoil that. Go read it yourself. It's a really good comic book.
Well, here's the thing. What about when they went over the Sun Disk? Like, they justified it in the black boxes, but honestly, I feel like if they verbalized it, it probably would have been received better, rather than saying, "Oh yeah, it's reasonable to question Super Saiyan Bardock being here." I feel like that should have been in a black box, and the Sundisk justification should have been talked about.
Right, I don't know how that
Talk
ties.
about Super Saiyan Bardock because, like,
I don't know how that ties into Omni-Man's story, really. Because it really doesn't.
Well, no, because it just feels like they don't want to spoil, like, things that happen in the comics.
I feel as though you're trying to get me to spoil it, but I'm like, look, I'm not wanting to touch... Because I disagree with why Omni-Man wins, but it's not because of the Sundisk thing.
No,
But-
I'm just saying if they talked about it, then people would have, like, maybe taken that better.
Why? There's no spoiler
Shane
regarding
Lore
the
agrees
Sundisk.
with
It's literally a 2-page
Shane Lore
comic
agrees
book.
with Mate on that point, though.
Right. Anyway, we'll probably read one more, maybe 2 more hot takes, but we probably should wrap up this live stream relatively soon. So I'll share one of my smaller hot takes, and then we'll have Sean and Mate rapid fire their ones. Because it has been over 2 hours since we've been streaming now.
Spent an hour on Among Us Fall Guys and like an hour on Kratos Asura. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And this one's more so at the community in a way. This is a take regarding Death Battle thumbnails. People can be critical of thumbnails. I'm not saying they can't be, because there are certain thumbnails where Death Battle have done, which I'm like, yeah, that was questionable. I feel like you could have designed that a little bit. Like, did anyone ever see the original Ultron versus Sigma thumbnail? It was bad. However,
I was gonna say more so the Nightmare versus Guts one with just the white background.
Yeah, well, here's my take when it comes to the community. I think you guys care about thumbnails a little too much regarding Death Battle stuff. Because the thumbnails are just there to say this is what the episode is. That's literally all a thumbnail is meant to be. And when it comes to like the fan base, I've seen people on Discord, Twitter, even BlueSky now, I'm noticing it there. It spreads like a virus. I just feel as though people just get so annoyed. Like even in the lad server, I've seen people go like, "Why did they design the thumbnail this way? Why did they use this version of Omni-Man for this Bardock thumbnail?" It's like, mate, it's meant to be a thumbnail that's meant to say this character's fighting this character. Is it nice when a thumbnail looks really good? Looking at Chosen Undead versus Dragonborn, like that thumbnail is pretty awesome. But I just don't really get annoyed about thumbnails, and this is the part that's going to also tie into it. I feel like certain fan bases over-design the thumbnails. Like, they go crazy with filter effects and stuff like that. Like, I remember years ago, I saw a Blake versus Mikasa thumbnail where all they did, because I've done this myself for my thumbnails, and I look back and I'm like, yeah, I could have designed that a little better. They just messed with the saturation and the lighting, and it just looks awful. It's like...
I was more so thinking, like, it can depend on, like, the standard Death Battle thumbnail we're talking about, by the way. Because I've seen reactors do, like, their own thumbnails, like myself, and then there's times where you have talented artists like Torok here who draw the characters for their thumbnails. So we mean like the ones that Death Battle use. Just for clarification.
Like, again, referencing this episode, like the thumbnail that they use for Blake versus Mikasa, it's nice and simple. It shows Blake looking epic with her sword and frame, with her eyes like, shining like a cat. And then you just have Mikasa dashing in the air, preparing her swords. It's a simple thumbnail. It looks good. It gets people wanting to check it out. Or Omni-Man versus Bardock. It shows Omni-Man looking determined, flying towards the camera. In the simple case, it shows Bardock like straining because he's fighting, because he's a warrior. And honestly, thumbnails are just meant to be just eye candy, but people don't want it to be eye candy. They want it to be an eye dinner. Like, they want a full course meal. They want to see eyes flashing. They want to see sparks flying everywhere. And it's just like, you can't just have a simple characters looking cool in the thumbnails. And yeah, cease but didn't. That's something I
get that,
agree
I
with.
get that.
Here's my hot take: thumbnails don't have to be filled with so many effects. I can't see the characters. Yes, like I saw one that someone did for Optimus Prime versus Gundam years ago. Like I could make a better thumbnail. I could barely see Optimus Prime in it. I could see the Gundam fine. I could not see Optimus. Like the thumbnail they have for the official death battle looks good. It shows them looking determined. Shows them showing off their weaponry. That's all you need. Like that's all you need for a thumbnail.
So, my thing with this is like, yeah, if you go by like what videos like used to be like, where the thumbnail's supposed to drag in the attention, then yeah, sure, that's completely like okay to like understand. Like if it's not like clickbaity enough. But then they did the update on YouTube where it's just like you just hover over the video and then you just see what it's about. Like the thumbnail doesn't really matter as much anymore when it comes to just like things like Death Battle.
Yeah, it's like. And I see people going crazy with their thumbnails when they do those fan trailers. Like, I don't want to disrespect like the fans who make their own fan content, because you know what? We get some good things from that, like Among Us versus Fall Guys. But I feel as though people who go so critical with Death Battle thumbnails, like sometimes it's deserved. Like, you know, the original Guts versus Nightmare thumbnail was bad. You had Nightmare's PNG image looking very small, so you couldn't really tell if that was Nightmare on first glance. No, I want eye candy. Shut up, Turok. Go back to baguette country.
I want candy. Do.
It's done. I'm done.
But, you know, like, the thumbnail for Guts versus Nightmare now, it's like, honestly, it's simple. It shows the characters looking determined, flexing their big swords. That's all you need. That's a very simple way to show this is what the character is. Even Dimitri versus Guts, that's a really good thumbnail. We show Dimitri surrounded by fire, wielding his like spear, but then you show Guts surrounded by darkness and shadow. It's like it's simple. It doesn't need crazy effects. This is the death battle. Here's what this thumbnail kind of represents of the character. And yeah, that's pretty much my final hot take, or my take I disagree with. Like, I don't think people should be so critical with the thumbnails, because it's just a thumbnail. It's not freaking Bob Ross drawing a little happy tree. But mate, do you have a take regarding the community or death battle you disagree with, or do you think you've peaked with your ones?
I think people just like they might take influencers' opinions like too seriously.
I agree with that 100%.
Like I can't remember who it was, but someone did a video ranking season 5 and they put Thanos vs. Darkseid at the bottom. And after that, I just started seeing like people disliking that episode. I don't get it.
It's just that
And ignore what comes on screen in a second.
I don't blame the influencers themselves for doing that, because like at the end of the day, they're just giving their opinion on the ranking. It's just that the fan bases that see that are just like copy and pasting what they're saying like mindlessly without actually giving their own opinion.
Yeah. In fact, another example I can give of that, I think it's the same person. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of these anymore. But it was like to do with that line Ryuko has with when she can't hit Shadow and Senketsu just tells her, he's anticipating you. You should anticipate him instead. And she says, no shit, stupid. Like, apparently people weren't happy about that line because of, like, Ryuko's characterization. Meanwhile, I'm just like, I find that funny because I would have the exact same reaction. Like, you can't hit this guy, and your friend says, he's anticipating you. You should anticipate him. Great fucking advice. Ryuko's reaction is hilariously warranted.
Yeah. Is that how you're ending off your takes you disagree with?
Yeah, people just like take influencers' opinions like too seriously to the point where they're just like, yes, that's my opinion too.
Copy and paste it. It's like a Dalek basically. They become Daleks. Their one track mind. Exterminate.
Yeah, I'm not throwing shade on that person. Just viewers who take it too seriously.
Right, yeah. Also, just going to give Turok a shout out. People often forget that a thumbnail is supposed to be visible when it's the side of a thumbnail. It's like, yeah, that is what I think people do tend to forget. Also, apparently Starshot says he knows who it is, mate, but he won't say. You coward. You know, if you're so...
I am calling him Pumpernickel.
Prove you're not a coward, Starshot, by donating a $5 and saying the name of the person in your £5 message.
Stop doing that.
I'm stopping you right there.
God damn it. Hey, I have to try and make a living.
I've been waiting for that.
There's only so long I can make lattes for customers.
Frank West jump scare. Ah.
But are they made with steamed Austrian goat milk?
We have oat milk.
Leave that to Stone, mate. Leave that to Stone.
Yeah.
Or I'll stone you in a
Eggman
minute.
does love the way he makes them.
Right, Sean, end us off with a take you disagree with. Are you going to go all out, or is it going to be just a nice simple one to end the stream?
I'll keep it kind of simple. It's okay to... Because I saw a lot of hate come from, we were talking about earlier, with Genshin Impact. It's okay to have a new franchise have an episode. Like, when Anguish's Traveler got announced on the Kickstarter, people lost their minds over Genshin Impact getting on the show. But yet no one gives a good reason why. Why not Death Battle let them show you what Genshin has to offer, and who knows, maybe you'll get into the franchise. Look what happened with Berserk. Or in Bill's case, look what happened with Fire Emblem.
I'm even going to be doing a Fire Emblem Let's Play after I do Deltarune.
And just like that, I think he summoned Jaro.
I've been promising him for
Yes.
5... It's actually been 5 years since I've played Undertale. It's like, you know what? Maybe I should play the sequel. Like, it's been a while.
I just think it's dumb that people want to hate on an episode and say it's bad just because it's a franchise that haven't really given a fair chance.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I just saw it and went, all right.
I think a lot of Genshin Impact's hate did come from the Game Awards when it beat Sonic Frontiers as most Players' Choice Awards. And I've kind of said this on my own.
I disagree with it winning, but I don't really have much of an opinion on.
I mean, it does have
Genshin as a whole.
It does have a big player base. It's actually been around a lot longer than I realized.
It's also on Game Pass for those of you who want to give it a try.
Yeah, like this is why I kind of want to throw out there, like, people, you know, an award show doesn't, you know, make whatever you like mean less if it doesn't win.
Yeah. In fact, I heard some things about the Oscars, which, oh boy.
Yeah, like, you should let Death Battle at least show you what they can do when it comes to franchises you're not familiar with or franchises that you just heard people dislike.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to throw this out there, the thing I heard about the Oscars was, you know that film, is it 12 Days a Slave?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the Academy admitted they didn't watch it because they would find it, and they quote, upsetting, but they felt obligated to vote for it for the awards.
Bruh.
Yeah, so just throwing it out there.
Yeah. I mean, for God's sake, the Game Awards freaking nominated an Elder Ring DLC as the best game of the year instead of, like, oh, I don't know, a certain Space Marine 2.
I was going to say Persona 3 Reload.
That
works
also
too.
Oh yeah, Resident Evil remakes can keep getting nominated, but not a Persona remake. Like, really? Anyway, kind of gone off topic. I think that's a good way to end our third topic, really, of to end the year off. And I'm going to try to find the image that I recently just downloaded. It's not on here, so I probably have to exit this and come back onto it. Because I thought I'd add it into the file.
But for those of you for those who have other hot takes that we didn't get to, join the server and we can take a look at them over there. People would be interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, because there's this thing we do now where, well, it's a thing I'm trying to do more of lately, where it's like, hey, you know what? Come by and chill with me for an event, and we'll just hang out and chat.
Yep. We host events over on the server like every week. We're getting back into that this week. There's gonna be fun to be had.
Yeah, like we either just play games together. Sometimes you could get lucky and we get to record a video together, or just hang out with us. We recently did one where we were revisiting all the best moments of 2024.
So
that's both pretentious and
now.
cowardly. Look, it's nearly 11 o'clock for me, Star Shock. We have recorded for a little bit.
I think he's referring to the Oscars thing I mentioned.
Oh, okay. I think I tend to forget my live stream can be a bit delayed. But yeah,
well, thank you, chat, for not making me suffer today during the live stream.
Yeah. Also, in the live stream, you get a brief shot to... You could judge me on what games I play in a brief shot I have on screen. I play a lot of games.
I see.
Playing the Dead Rising You're playing the Dead Rising remake before Deltarune. Jar was
Hey.
going to be upset with you.
I was originally going to Let's Play Dead Rising remake, but there's so many games coming out now that I feel as though I will eventually play that at some point. But for video-wise, I feel like I need to play Deltarune. Desktop reveal. Oh no. Don't worry, there's no porno. I have a file for that. But, after posted this image... I just felt like, we needed to have this be the ending image because we've done that for the last 2 live streams. And, mate, I'm really disappointed. You've done Shy Guy dirty in this picture, man. He needs to be front and center.
Mate, don't listen to Bill at all. You did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, it is a good image. Credit to you, man. If you had to put all these characters in, if this season was much longer, just oof.
Oh, then it'd just be Bowser.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, the only reason I did it like this is because we only got 4 episodes. That's why I snuck in the other personas Joker used.
I just love how Omni-Man kind of looks like he's reacting. It's like, what the hell have I flown in on? Joker's
One
like...
of you is a thief, one of you is a turtle, and one of you is a bean.
Omni-Man's like, what have I stumbled in on? Joker. A cast of 90% of people that could kick your ass. Even Kamek.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts to think that out of all these guys, Omni-Man is the weakest one.
Yeah. Well, okay. Maybe not a Goomba and a Koopa. I'm pretty sure Omni-Man could
in terms of, the main winners.
Yeah, in terms of the main winners, yeah, Omni-Man probably gets thrashed by, all 3 of the combatants. Even the Fall Guys. Which, funny enough, Omni-Man was a costume in Fall Guys.
I'm too broke to ruin your life. Well, either way, thank you, Starstruck, for not making me suffer.
God damn it. You're all cowards. Billy, show us your Lady Demetress folder. Here's a hot take. I never thought Lady Demetress was that hot. Alright.
More of a Heisenberg guy.
Oh, Heisenberg. Oof, man, I'm already hot thinking about him. Oh my god. He's like Pyrrha, but twice as sexy. And he's got a southern accent, just bosh on, man. We need more sexy fan of Heisenberg. Torok, get on that. I need shirtless Heisenberg right now. To be clear, Resident Evil Village one. No, I guess we'll end it with a... I know we're technically into the new year, but, we're nearly approaching our 5th year anniversary when it comes to lads content, both from me and Mate and Sean joining after... The podcast nearly was dead after a 4th co-host. So...
Who will remain nameless.
Yeah, the fact Lads Discuss Death Battle is still continuing on that. Even if Death Battle was to end, I'm certain we still do Lads content. We could do Ruby, Marvel, Justice League. I just enjoy making videos, and I'm really glad I've, YouTubers that I used to watch that I never thought I'd do collabs with. Now they're my co-hosts. Who would have thought?
I have this idea for a follow-up to the Pokemon randomizer.
At some point we probably will do a randomizer part 2 with Gen 2.
Am I allowed to say what it is?
We'll save it for when maybe we announce it, because I'm certain we want to end this off by,
Alright.
you know... Oh, do you know what? Reese, that's technically not real money, but you know what? I'll accept that.
No, you won't.
You know what, Reese, that counts. That's not real money, but I'll accept it.
What?
Sean, right now.
Like,
You're not good enough. Thank you, Reese. Thank you for your donation. Even though it's not a real donation. Oh, we'll take
Shut
it.
the everlasting fuck up.
Oh my god. Anyway, but yeah, big old shout to the community for staying with us for so long, for enjoying our content, and just overall, just, you know, keep on sticking around. We got loads of new content coming out, and yeah, I think you will enjoy it. And be sure to check out all these guys' content. I will announce...
I'm going to be celebrating 10 years soon.
Yeah, get your clips to your early mate right now. I've sent my clip to him. And yeah, and also to announce, I will be doing another Let's Play soon, a horror game called Still Wakes the Deep, a Scottish horror game. It's already scary enough with the Scottish involved.
It's just kid chasing you.
It's just kid chasing us.
God fucking damn it, Yang.
Oh, hello, Yang News, and also hello, James. Do you know what? Hey, do you know what? I didn't even press it that time.
You both. You stink. The end.
Sean, do you have any announcement you want to make before we end the stream?
Yeah, I'm getting back into making content again after a brief hiatus, so huzzah for that.
Yeah, mate, do you have any final things you want to say before we end this year, quote unquote?
Wow, 2025 did not last long.
this year of Lads Discuss Death Battle.
Wait, what are you planning for 2026, mate?
Yeah, get your clips to me for the whole 10 years thing, and also, if you haven't seen it yet, go see Sonic 3.
Please do, because I recently saw
That's a fair
Mufasa with
point.
Bernadette, and I really wish I didn't. We actually started talking
You
about
poor
Sonic
soul.
3. Well, we thought, you know what, let's actually see if this film's good. It's not. And do you know what's even funny? After that film ended, we were just talking about Sonic 3. So, yeah, go watch Sonic 3. And be sure
This will
to...
be the year I hit 500. Hooray.
Yeah, and hopefully I hit 900. Or at least 869 subscribers. I'm already at 9, I just need 60
Nice.
more. And then we'll reach another 969. And then we'll reach more 69 subscribers. We'll do this forever. Bill Lads forever and ever. 100 years. 100 years. Lads discuss Death Battle. Lads
I hope
discuss
you-
Riri. Lads
I hope
discuss
you know
anything.
that. Bill, I hope you know that when you hit 1,000, me and Bill are going to hold you to a promise that you made a while back.
Oh god. What promise did I make? Am I going to regret it?
If Bill hits 1,000 subs, we're forcing him to play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, tits. I forgot
Felicity.
about that. Well, that is...
Do
If,
it,
you know what?
do it.
If we get to 1,000 subscribers this year, screw it, we'll live stream it. My first time playing, so I don't try and edit out any of my F-ups.
Alrighty.
And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you see here, be sure to share the video around, keep the channel growing. 100 years, let's discuss Death Battle, let's discuss Forever and Ever, 100 years, let's discuss Death Battle, whatever, Bamford Dance, I'm going to play that Bamford sound effect right now just to end off the live stream.
I'm stopping you right there.
You were too late!